miracle of human perspective.
Is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Sharing the love, spreading the light in real time. Friday night love stream.
Very happy to have a guy we instantly resonated with. Unbiased and on the fence. I'm talking about Shane C. Robinson. And his purpose is to rise above the worldviews that are designed to separate us so we can unite as one.
Sometimes you have to sort of take a step back, and I think Unbiased and on the Fence is a really, really good title for your show, because you are in the central point when you're unbiased and on the fence. That's what it means. It doesn't mean you're indecisive. It means you are taking the central point and you're seeing the multiple perspectives.
Unbiased and on the fence.
If you haven't checked Unbiased on the Fence, go and check his channel out. You might like it.
This is Dan Hofeld from Talk is Cheap, and you're listening to Unbiased and on the Fence with Shane Robinson.
If this much sincerity enters your life, come to this much. What I know, I know. What I do not know, I do not know. I don't believe anything, I don't disbelieve anything. I'm willing to look at everything. You will become a sensible human being.
Have you checked out our website?
Visit us on the web at uotf.net. You're listening to The Love Stream.
All around the world in real time.
This is Shane with Unbiased and On the Fence. You're listening to the Friday Night Love Stream.
Your calls, your stories, on air. You're listening to the Love Stream.
Sharing the love and spreading the light all around the world. This is Unbiased and On the Fence.
Unbiased and on the fence.
What is up, you guys? It's the Friday Night Love Stream, and we are running a little bit late, but big news tonight. Eileen and I have finally got the book launched. So the four of us, of course, Eileen, Paulo Pinto, if you guys know Spirit Walker, he's a YouTuber, myself, and Vanessa, V.A., who's also a YouTuber. We all have a book, and it is officially out today, Mandela Effect, Friend or Foe. Let me pull up a little quick screenshot here of available on Amazon now. The link is in the description below. So yeah, I was just telling Eileen, I'm like, wait a minute, I can actually share this now? So this is it. Mandela Effect, Friend or Foe. Link is in the description. And of course, I have my first conference coming up, the Mandela Effect Conference, West Coast Mandela Effect Conference. And that is going to be at the beginning of November, and 8th, 9th, and 10th. And of course, if you're in the St. Louis area, we're also having a St. Louis get-together. And I got news of another get-together on the East Coast, I think in October. So I'm going to have more information for that coming up. And so yeah, lots of exciting things happening. Phone lines are open, so if you guys want to call in, please don't hesitate.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Sharing the love, spreading the light in real time. Friday night love stream.
All right. Didn't mean to play that again. We'll go with some Wingmakers while we're waiting on the phone lines. Of course, this is the sound of the Wingmakers. You can listen to them for free on YouTube. Just type in Wingmakers music. Very nice, soothing music. It's supposed to be activating. I do like it. Alrighty, I'm so glad Eileen had time to call in because we had big news, and I can't think of a better person to share it with and talk to you guys about. Eileen, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're coming through great.
Awesome. I don't have a great Wi-Fi signal, but I'm on my phone, so it should be okay for a while.
Yeah, it's coming through good. What is the weather like there? Are you still dealing with stuff down there?
No, but I did hear that another hurricane's heading our way, and you said we should be like clearing them before they're really close, and people are panicking. So maybe we should take a look at that tomorrow and see how close it is.
Yeah, I'd say even if it's close enough, we can do another separate one that we just post up there tomorrow before the show or whatever, and then take it down once we steer it out of there, you know? That'd be great.
Yeah, good idea. Okay, I'll take a look at it tomorrow and see if there's really something brewing.
Yeah, I think we'll find that we're a lot more effective before everybody starts panicking about it and kind of working against us, you know?
Right.
So it'll be a good little experiment, you know?
Yeah, it's a good point to move these things away before everybody's running and seeking shelter and putting the opposite energy out.
Oh, yeah, totally. So, Friday the 13th.
Talking about energy, what about our news today?
Yeah, the book, man, it was a lot of little hurdles to jump through, but what did it take us, 18 months finally to get it from concept to completion, I guess?
Not bad, huh? 18 months, that was pretty fast.
Yeah, it went by fast if you look at it that way, I guess.
I mean, of course, we expected to publish it last October. I don't know what we were thinking.
I think sometimes our higher self tells us what we need to hear to motivate us. You're like, oh, October, that's not bad, you know.
That's not bad. We're going to write and edit and lay out and design and print and upload a book in 6 months. I mean, that was kind of cutting off a lot for us to do.
Yeah, we were aiming high, but that's not a bad thing. I like to aim high, you know.
Me too. And yeah, there's going to be some things in this book that, I mean, obviously, all the stuff that we talk about with our community will be in that book, but we also have a lot of science in there, don't we? Because we don't bog our chaps down with science so much. But science is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like Spirit Walker forte.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. I thought it was a really well-rounded book with the authors that we have and just the content that's covered, because it does really branch out into all areas. You know, just the Mandela effect itself, you know. But
do you guys know Spirit Walker? I know Sherry knows Spirit Walker because I've seen her commenting on there.
Mm-hmm.
He's Paulo Pinto is Brazilian, but he lives in Australia. And he's an economist, and he has a great quantum background. He really understands quantum physics, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, very nice to have him on board with that.
Vanessa Va. We got the amazing, wonderful Vanessa Va. Everybody here, I think, knows Vanessa.
Yeah, even if they don't realize they know her, they probably do know her. I've seen her videos. You know, Vanessa.
Yeah.
So a nice little group, you know.
Yeah, a nice little anthology. Are we allowed to share any of the kind of funny news that we got today or not? Should we just not talk about that?
Oh, about
I'm talking
Amazon?
where we're so excited, you know, we're dancing up and down because we managed to pick up the international sales on the book. Right. So we are available in the United Kingdom, Europe, Japan, right?
Yep.
For 25 cents each, basically, is what we'll make per book. So we're still going to sell it to you guys for 25 cents each. Basically, we learned the hard way that all the prices have changed, and to sell it overseas, you make nothing. You basically give it away. But $0.25 a book, I mean, that's more than a poke in the eye with a stick, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit better in the States. So can't complain too much.
It is a little bit better in the States, yeah.
At least we're in the positive, right? It's almost like almost cost money.
Positive, exactly.
But yeah, that's cool though. That it will be available all over the world. So that's really the huge part of this, I think. And at some point, maybe we can get our own distributor or something. Who knows?
That would help because at this point we're just giving it away worldwide, and then hopefully. You know, it'd be nice to make a little bit on it in the USA, and then we can put that money towards future books, did you want to even say what we were laughing and talking about today, like traveling around the country in a trailer and doing live shows all over the country? Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be awesome. Like going on tour, basically, having little get-togethers in every little town we stop in. That'd be cool.
And doing shows live with the people in the community from every little town. So anyway, all kinds of reasons that this is a big deal for us today, and we're really, really grateful. We're very, very appreciative and happy that it's out.
Should we talk about what we hid in the book, or is that a secret?
No secrets. Oh,
okay.
That. Let's tell our community. It's a secret for everybody outside of our community, but let's tell our gang.
Okay, yeah. You guys got to know what we've done here, because I thought it was really neat. I thought it was really cool what we've done. But
me too.
I'll let you explain it.
So you guys know Ho'oponopono because we've done a couple of shows on it, and a couple of you in the community practice Ho'oponopono. So that's that ancient kahuna prayer that Myrna made famous like 50 years ago. She passed away. It's an ancient prayer of restitution. It's how you clear and clean anything that's negative. If it's in your personal life or in your global community, you can clear and clean it with these very powerful words. And Joe Vitale made it famous with Dr. Hugh Lin in the book Zero Limits. And it's basically, if you're personally involved, you say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. If you're not personally involved and it's a global issue, you say, I love you, thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And when you just want to give praise and appreciation and thanks for something to the universe, you just say, thank you, I love you, thank you, I love you, thank you, I love you, thank you, I love you. And you repeat it out loud or in your head until you feel joyful, clear, and clean.
Yeah.
That's Ho'oponopono in a nutshell. Now you tell them what we did with the book.
Okay, so we were trying to think of a way to infuse Ho'oponopono in the book somehow, the whole concept of thank you, I love you. So Eileen had the idea, well, we've got our footer with the page number. What if we put something down there? So we played with the idea of typing it up down there and switching the ink to white, which makes it just not even show up on the page, but it's there. So it's thank you, I love you at the bottom of every page, but you can't see it. So it's like infused.
You can't see it.
You can't see it. It's there, though.
It's infused. Yeah, it's there. But it's 274 pages of thank you, I love you.
Exactly. Exactly. That's cool, isn't it?
Plus the table of contents, right? Plus all the other pages.
Yeah. So that was it, and we were. Yeah, that's a great idea,
cool.
though. It was cool that we were able to do that. Yeah.
That was cool, and it was really cool as Shane's doing all the layout and design and upload that he prints it in, and we see thank you, I love you under every page number, and then he highlights it and hits white font, and it magically disappears. But it's there.
Yeah.
If you hover over it on the layout, it's there, but it's invisible.
Yeah. Ronnie said, laugh out loud, an invisible Easter egg. It is. It's a little Easter egg on the pages.
Yeah, exactly. And only you guys. We'll only tell you guys. I don't really think we should tell everybody out in the world. We'll just leave that with our community.
Yeah. That'll be our little secret. It's nothing bad. It's good intention.
Exactly. So what else is in there? I guess there's going to be some stuff in there for you guys that's new that we try not to bog down and too much. It's not a boggy book, but there's some interesting details in there with some references to some, interesting cosmic things that you can go and look up, like that book, Beyond UFOs, The Science of Consciousness, that a lot of people are reading in our community, the Edgar Mitchell book. So there'll be a lot of things in there to look up. So it might be kind of like a mini course on the Mandela effect, but fun, light, loving, joyful.
Yeah, that is nice that it's a standalone book, but also has a lot of references to a lot of other great books like Cynthia Sue Larson, who wrote a blurb for us for the book, by the way, and we want to thank her for taking the time to do that. That's huge, and I'm so glad to get to speak with her in Idaho in November. That's
at Dark Wisdom thingy conference, November 11th, is it?
It's 8th through 10th, and then the 11th, November 11th, it's going to be the get together in the St. Louis area. So I'm going to hit that on the way back.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you, Cynthia Sue. We're just like so proud. We almost didn't ask you. We almost didn't ask her. We were like, oh, we can't ask her for a recommendation. You know, she's a big author. And we're like, oh, let's ask her. Let's see if she'll do one. And boy, oh boy, she gave us, she read the book and she gave us a great recommendation, which is called our blurb on the back cover and the inside page.
Yeah, that's awesome. So excited. Yeah, she was happy to do it. She was honored we asked. I was really excited that she was.
Yeah, she's such a loving person.
Yeah.
So what else about the book? Anything like if anybody asked us a question? Is there a question in the chat?
So we can talk about. We can talk real quick. Okay, so right now, since we do have a global audience right now, we're gonna go. We're going to Australia tomorrow, right? Is that uploaded tomorrow to Australia?
Yeah, it sounds like you're flying to Australia. Your spirit walker is. Shane is going to upload us to Australia, but I am thinking after I have to set up the legal account there with taxes and bank accounts, etc., and contacts and legalities, and after that's done, I bet they're going to make you redo it according to a whole different book size, fonts that are used. It's going to be like you're going to have to change it.
It's actually print on demand, Atsuko, so you can actually, as of today, you can get on there and order it today on Amazon if you're in, where is it available? United States, Canada, and Europe? Is that right, Eileen?
States, United Kingdom, Europe, and Japan.
Okay.
But we're not going to leave out the rest of the world. Shane has got a huge list of things to do between now and Christmas. He's got to get it on in Africa and South Africa. He's got to get it on in South America. Right?
Yeah.
And I think Canada uses the same one as us, so that's ticked. We're going on Australia this weekend with New Zealand. That's ticked. So
and then, of course, the ebook, which will be a... Yeah, we're working on the ebook as well. So right now there's just the print version, but hopefully within a week I can have the ebook version up. I'm just not sure about formatting, but... Yeah, there's a lot of...
The price is like $9.99, I think, and the print price is $14.95. So you save $5 by putting it on your Kindle, and your Kindle can be on your phone now. You don't have to buy a device for it anymore.
All right. So it will be available more places. This is just the very first of the first, which puts us in the United States, Canada, and I guess most of Europe and even Japan, which all use the main Amazon hub, I guess. Is that why that is?
Yeah. And they're asking, hi Mal, hi Atsuko, they're asking what's the name of the book and where do they get it?
Okay, the link is in the description, Mandela Effect, Friend or Foe, and there's an Amazon link if you look down.
Just think of fee-fi-fo-fum. We'll be the one with faux in there. It's not a very common word, is it? But I love it.
Right. Yeah, it'll be right above where it says for more information in the website. And I will add a link to our website. This is just brand new, guys, so we're just like letting you know.
Yeah, it just came on this afternoon at 2:40. I guess I was out and the changes were uploaded. So at 2:40 it went live for the paperback. It's $15. Basically, that's the price all over the world, translated into other currencies. And it'll be on Kindle soon, and it'll be in Australia soon.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll work on Africa and South America so we don't miss any corner of the world.
Right.
Not that there's corners in our world, but, you know.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Never know.
Box. Maybe it's a square. Maybe it's a Metatron cube.
Yeah,
the
cube.
All along, right?
We're on the board.
Oh, God.
But, yeah, so we're excited today. It dawned on us today while we're getting this ready. Eileen looked at me and she goes, it's official. We're authors. And I'm like, oh, we are. We're authors.
We're
wow.
authors. Oh, my God. We're authors now. As of 2:49 this afternoon, we're authors. How cool is that?
Just what we need. Another label attached to us, right?
Exactly. Paulo has been an author since 1990. He must have been about 15 when he wrote that book. He wrote some work of fiction, and he published it in the 1990s.
Wow.
And he looks pretty young now, so I don't know how old he was when he did that book, but it's in Spanish, and I don't know where it's available. His other book might be available, like, in different countries.
Well, we definitely want to have Paulo and Vanessa on pretty soon, and we'll chat about the book now that it's live, and Wow, I'm so excited. It's so surreal, you know.
It's so surreal. We should do like an afternoon show to get your daytime people, because I only chat with and know your nighttime people. Because I work a lot during the day, so I do the love stream at night, and I do the Power of 8 at 8. So, and I do watch frequencies, paranormal frequencies, and I try to catch all the daytime shows later, like at night. I watch them at night when I get home. So maybe we should do a daytime show as well to catch a slightly different crowd. I think you get a lot from the UK in the daytime that we don't get at night, right? We got Wisdom from the UK. She's over there staying up late for us.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, we do have Diane. There's quite a few over there, spread out throughout the day.
We should do a daytime show and a nighttime show.
We really should, yeah, Wednesday or Thursday. I try to leave those open to hit up the afternoon, because I know they like to catch those live shows, and if it's at 9, it's in the middle of the night. So if it's like 7 or 9, one of those shows, then there's a few night owls over there, but most everyone's asleep.
Are there a few night owls? Because I know our night owls, you know, we're just like reliable night owls in these nighttime streams.
Definitely. Luna Ray, she's usually up really late.
So what else is in the book that these guys are going to go, oh, great, I'm going to pay $15 to hear everything you and Eileen have told us and chatted about on the Power of 8 for the last 18 months. But I think there's more in it. I think there's more in it than what we chat about.
Oh, yeah, great food for thought in there.
I think Vanessa and Spirit Walkers have some new angles to it.
And I like there's a lot of testimonials in there, testimonies. In your section and in Vanessa's. So it's nice that everybody, we get like Dead GPK is in there, and a lot of people from the community, a few different people.
Yeah, I wish I could have gotten more, but we just basically, I reached out to the people whose emails I had, and then I would contact them and go, do you want to say something about the Mandela effect? And they'd either say yes or no, thank you. So that's how I did it. I didn't really pick and choose. It's not like leaving other people out and putting some people in. I just went through my email list, and I'm like, oh, I've got some emails in our community.
Yeah. No, I think it was good. It was a nice little sampling. There's no way to get everybody. It was such a big thing to organize, you know. So.
I know what this is really good for our community. If anybody calls you crazy, you can buy them this book for their birthday and go, read the book, and then tell me if you still think I'm crazy.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because it's got lots of examples and explanations, and I'm sure there's one in there for everybody, you know.
We've got lots of proof in there. We've spent so much time digging up the proof that a lot of people have trouble in a casual conversation. It's very hard to dig up proof when you're just chit-chatting, but we've put loads in there to help support your point of view if you're Mandela affected. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited about it. I think a lot of people are going to maybe even be convinced by it if they're giving it as a gift. Maybe they're not online. That was sort of our purpose for it, is something you can hand somebody if they're not online on YouTube watching videos all the time. Something that will give them a really nice assortment of changes and reasoning and logic and experiences and all of that stuff. Yeah,
for newbies. Yep, newbies who are just like, what is this Mandela effect? Are you crazy? What is the Mandela effect? After they read this book, they won't think it's so crazy anymore. They'll have to kind of give it some serious consideration.
Yeah, or they'll turn it away before they ever look into it, which is sort of, you get one or the other. You know, I think if they're open to it, though, and they check it out, then, you know, it might just crack the shell open, you know.
A lot of, some of my family was Mandela affected with me around the same time, but a lot of my family are coming online with the Mandela effect. And my sister, for one, she's always in the Power of 8. I think she's LEJ now in the Power of 8. She used to be on Healthy Aging and Tips from an Old Lady. And she emailed me the other day. She said, Eileen, I'm not sure if you and Shane have seen this one yet, but I just saw that Grand Central Station is Grand Central Terminal. When the heck did that happen? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know when that happened, Leslie. I know I heard, a couple of months ago someone did a video on it, but I'm like, I don't know when that change occurred, but it feels pretty recent.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. That feels like it's been this year, maybe. Because I remember.
Yeah, a newer one.
Yeah, it's definitely a newer one for me, but it's weird because you'll see footage. You can actually go and try to find documentaries, and you'll hear the people talking about it, and they'll call it station and terminal back and forth, like it's interchangeable. And then you see terminal,
Seriously?
like engraved in the. You can tell it's been there for decades. You know what I mean? Like since the place has been there. And yeah, and it says terminal on it, Grand Central Terminal. I'm like, what? There is no Grand Central Station anywhere now.
You watch a movie from the 1940s where it says above their head Grand Central Terminal, but the actors are going, "Oh, I'm so glad you came to Grand Central Station." That would be brilliant residue, wouldn't it, when you had both in the same place?
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt that if there is something like that because, like I said, they were like interviewing people that work there, like, I don't know, security guy or something like that. And, you know, he would say, here at the station, here at the terminal. He would go back and forth between the two. And I was like, that's strange. He never said Grand Central Station, but he would say the station sometimes or, just call it, he would shorten it.
Those flip-flops were great. I don't see as many anymore, but I do remember when people were doing videos about Tidy Cat and Tidy Cats. I don't have a cat, so I don't know. But do you remember when the Flintstones became the Flintstones with no T? That one I was definitely convinced was the Mandela effect, but at some point it went back to Flintstones. It flipped back.
Yep, that was one of my flip-flops, too, and it freaked me out because, well, you remember my story. I remembered reading in the Bible about flint knives, and I had that realization, flint knives, that's a type of rock. That's where they named the Flintstones from. So, yeah, so when it switched to Flintstones, I remember telling everybody, no, I remember when I read it in the Bible, and then it switched back, and everybody's like, no, it's always been Flintstones, and that's the Flintstones. I'm like, well, it was originally Flintstones, and it went to Flynn, and now it's back to Flint. So that's my reality. I don't know about you guys, but I started with a T. The T went away when I found out about it, and then the T came back since. Yeah. So it was like that for you, too?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Definitely. I was like, no, it's not the Flintstones. There's a T in there. And then the T came back. Yeah. But, and Hillary Clinton with one L and two L's, that was weird. It was like, but maybe that's like more of a spelling mistake than Flintstones. I don't know. Was it you who told me, that I think he's Japanese, that great scientist who's
Michio
always
Kaku?
on like main. Yeah.
Michio Kaku, yeah.
Was it him that was saying that he thinks perhaps we're all in individual reality bubbles that bump into each other occasionally and leave residue on each other's bubbles? Did you tell me that, or did my sister?
Maybe your sister. I don't think. Is she in here? Let me see.
Okay.
You said she switched her name to something?
Yeah, she's LJE. She'll be in tomorrow night. We can talk about it tomorrow night if you like. She heard him doing an interview where he said, perhaps everybody's in an individual reality bubble floating around, and we bump into each other, and when we bump, we leave residue of each other's bubbles on each other's bubbles, where everything's the same but different, similar but not identical. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally. And I have observed that. I have observed that too, where it's like, where you kind of think about yourself as far as, when people get into the whole idea of an NPC, which, there doesn't even need to be an NPC. I mean, we could be dealing with all real life human beings playing roles, and like for yourself, you're playing your own role, but you might be, you might cut somebody off in traffic, or you might be someone's nemesis that day. You know what I mean? You might be playing the role of, the negative in someone's life that day. Maybe you cut them off. Maybe you did something to aggravate them or whatever. But you were sort of from their reality, you were sort of this person that came into their reality that day to test them. So I think it works all the different directions. We're all like characters in each other's show, and that's sort of, that idea that you're talking about there, where that makes a little more sense to me.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And the University of Edinburgh is studying it as strings, where the Earth has an unlimited number of dimensions, and they're strings, and they're very close to each other, and occasionally the strings bump into each other as well, leaving a little residue back and forth between two very similar realities that are slightly different.
Yeah, maybe that's what deja vu is, the strings bumped into each other. That's what it seems like.
Yesterday, you had your memory. Do you remember? It was in
Oh.
PMA Atwater's Future Memory book.
Yeah, we were working yesterday, and I had this really strange, strong sense of nostalgia come over me, and I've had that before. I've talked about it with Michelle like last year or something, but yeah, it just came over me, and it was childhood nostalgia. It felt so good, but it wasn't triggered by a smell. I was reading that title. What was it? Multidimensional or something?
Yeah, we were thinking of keying in multidimensional into the keyword search.
And it triggered it.
And
just
you got
that word.
hit with memory.
Yeah, that was really weird. And it was really strong. And it was strong like as if you smell something and it takes you back to a memory. But I didn't have a smell or anything. It was just reading that word triggered something.
Well, this is interesting. Okay, so yesterday we were wannabe authors working on a book. Today, the book is published. We're authors. We can move on to the next book as soon as you finish all that whole list of things to do before Christmas, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like a big job getting it all over the world, so I'm just kidding. But so when we made that change, was today and our new future a part of our previous timeline, or did we jump timelines when we made that decision?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
how do you tell when you're jumping timelines? Because sometimes it just seems like an extension of where you are.
Mm-hmm. And it's like as soon as you sort of jump, the other one doesn't exist anymore. So it's like you're collapsing what you're observing. So as you're like moving around, you're like constantly collapsing this wave function. It's like we're riding on this wave of probabilities and possibilities, and they're all collapsing into the now moment. You know, it's like the now moment. It's like where everything's collapsing into something, you know.
That's how Cynthia Sue Larson makes it so easy to understand quantum jumping in her book, Quantum Jumps, because she says, like, if Shane and I just stayed on one track and we chatted on Saturdays and we never wrote a book, you know, our life might end a certain way that might have a predictable outcome if we didn't change anything ever. But by changing it a bit and writing a book and publishing a book for, like, international markets and stuff, that may have made us quantum jump into a slightly different reality now, a slightly different timeline. And she said they can be so gentle that you don't even notice them, or they can be really surprising, like that time a giant statue just turned up in a park where she was walking. Like one day it wasn't there, and it wasn't there for months, years, and then the next day this massive statue that said it'd been there for decades just suddenly turned up in her timeline, and she's like, whoa, I must have quantum jumped to see the statue, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's, if you think about just the subtle changes that can happen from one little thing. I mean, think about, like, just putting this book out opposed to not putting the book out. We've increased our sphere of influence, if you will, you know, where we can actually help people around the globe. We're kind of putting yourself out there where synchronicity can take over. Somebody can stumble across our book now that it just wasn't possible before. So we, like, put it out in the universe, and we are trusting the universe takes it and gets it out there for us, you know. But we had to take that first step.
Let the universe do the marketing, basically.
Yeah.
We just need to get it out there. We just need to get it out there and do the marketing. And really, that's true for everybody. If you have a dream, a desire, something that you've always wanted to do your whole life, you know what? Now's the time to do it. Just give yourself the opportunity to do something that you've always wanted to do, and see how it goes. See what happens.
Yeah, just flow in the path of least resistance. A lot of times things will just unfold for you if you take that first step. You know, doors will begin to open. And you're like, oh, this is definitely what I'm supposed to do, because look at these doors just flying open for me. In fact, even in my Christian life, I use the whole walking through the open door idea, and just sort of where you're sort of trusting that the doors, the way you should go, that way will open up for you. And if you're not supposed to go down the road, you just trust those doors will be closed. And I really did that a lot. And I still kind of do that, because you're flowing, you're in the flow. You know, if you're going with the flow, you're in the path of least resistance, and you'll see all the synchronicities and the signposts that you're on the right track. Just take that first step and see where it goes, right?
Yeah, you're not fighting fate. You're not pushing against yourself. You're just going with the flow. And, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I really want to manifest this, and I really want it, and I want it, and I want it. And then for some reason, if it doesn't happen, that's when I go to, oh, well, when a door is shut, then a window's open. There's something better for me. There's something better for me in the future than what I just didn't get, because if I'd gotten that, then I wouldn't have gotten what I get in the future. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Oh, totally. That gets back to Cynthia Sue Larson's whole concept of how good can it get, right?
Yeah, how good can it get? And, you know, my nephew, he taught me a lot about patience. And he said, you know how if you're late for something and somebody cuts you off or makes you stop, or, you know, something delays you and you get really like, like, oh, I'm late already. I can't believe they slowed me down. You have to think, well, wait a minute. Maybe there's a reason why they stepped in and slowed me down. Maybe an angel made that happen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I do that all the time. It's and I got to remind myself that that's like, I don't know, for some reason the traffic thing is my thing, you know. For some reason I have no idea why. I guess it's just to keep me on my toes, you know. It's something so mundane can still be the thing that triggers me.
I just being from Chicago. I just taught my nephew when he was 2, and I went off on a tirade in the car, and he looked at me like, oh, my God, what monster is my auntie? And I said, don't worry, honey, that's how people drive in Chicago.
Oh, my God, good thing you're not from New York. Get off the road, buddy.
Oh, my God, get out of the way, a-hole.
Oh, gosh, you get so frustrated. I don't know if you've been in New York traffic, but they'll do they call it grit locking. So people will pull up trying to get ahead, but really they just shut it off where that people can't go to get out of the way, and everybody's stuck there. You know what I mean?
I believe you, and I think that sounds like L.A., but I've only been a foot passenger in New York, and that was pretty scary. I was like, whoa, you know?
Yeah, when
it's
I went
like in Florida, everybody stops for pedestrians. So the pedestrians have been tamed to think that every car will stop for them, and that's not always true. Maybe the cars can't see them. But literally in Florida, they will step out without looking left or right, and they'll just go, all cars stop for me, you know. And unfortunately, the pedestrian accidents in Florida are the highest in the country. But somebody's got to retrain the humans in Florida. You should still look left and right before you step into a road.
It's all the retirees that moved down there, I guess. They just forgot those rules from when they were a kid, maybe.
Yeah, it's like we train them not to look by stopping for them. It's like anywhere you are on a Florida road, it's like they will just put the brakes on for you and let somebody cross, no matter, even if it's not at a crossing. I'm like, this is just weird. This is not Chicago driving at all.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad they don't do that around here. People get hit all the time around here, and they don't do that here, so I don't know. It would be worse for
bubbles.
sure.
I do bubbles when I'm driving. I do bubbles for other people too when I see them on the road walking or working in a dangerous place. I'll put a bubble of protection, love, send them love lights.
Yeah, absolutely. All the construction people and people on bikes, gosh, I always worry about that when they're going down. I'm like, man, something can just kick them right out in front of me. You know what I mean? But that's getting back to that whole worrying about things that, you know, are kind of unnecessary to worry about.
Don't worry about things that probably won't happen. That's
Right.
kind of good advice. I think my brother once told me, I can't remember if it was him, I think so, he said, worrying is like paying a debt on a loan that never comes due. So you're worrying about something, and then it never happens, but you've already spent all that time worrying about it as if it did happen, even though it didn't happen. So it's like totally wasted energy.
Yeah. And it's an ongoing battle. I don't, you know, sometimes I'll come across like I have no fear or whatever. Of course I have fear, like, you know, if my kid doesn't show up when they're supposed to, and I'm texting, they don't answer, and, you know, I have to constantly remind myself there's nothing to be alarmed about yet, you know, let's just drive and see if we can find them or whatever, you know, and it's a constant reminder, you know, because if something, especially with your kids, because we love our kids, and that freaks us out if we think something's wrong with our kids. So there's all those levels of fear. But I mean, just in a general level, sometimes people they sit and worry all the time about all sorts of things.
Yeah, don't expect the worst. Don't always expect the worst. I would rather expect the best and deal with the disappointments in life than always expect the worst and be pleasantly surprised. I prefer the positivity side. Makes me feel better than sitting in dread.
So I'm totally all for fear, but it's do you feel fearful when you hear the tornado sirens or when your house is being ripped apart? I mean, there's because we'll hear lots of tornado sirens, but we won't. Not many of us will get our house ripped apart. So, statistically
Exactly. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. So it's to be calm and practical in the face of fear and go, okay, fear is legitimate sometimes. Yeah, things do happen, but let's be calm and practical about it. Instead of. But I think our community is so chill.
Yeah.
We're pretty chill people in this group.
And what's strange is, just from just the way the brain works, if you're in fear and you're trying to make some decisions, you're making decisions from that lower part of your brain rather than the higher level of thinking, because when you're in that fight or flight mode, you're making survival instinct decisions and not really thinking things out.
Oh, yeah. Reptilian brain, right?
But, yeah, they say the lizard brain. Yeah.
Lizard brain.
And that's the whole fight or flight thing.
It just keeps you alive. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is good. I mean, there might be a time a lion's after you, or maybe flood waters are coming, and you might need that little burst of fear energy to get you up on the roof out of the flood zone or away from,
Or
so
moms picking up cars off their kids.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Did that person really just lift the car up?
My grandma did that. I had one of those stories with her where she lifted a tractor up off of one of the grandkids, and her veins and stuff were popping out of her arm and stuff, but she was able to do it. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, it's that superhuman strength that we all got, that.
Yeah, hey, look, if your grandma did that, that means we all can do that. It means that gift is somewhere inside us all.
Yeah.
We just don't know how to tap into it yet.
Yeah. Just those emergency instincts, it just kicks in and whole
just
tractor
off. Just kick it in
the
blindly without thinking.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm going to be on tomorrow with Shane doing a Power of 8 at 8, so I don't want you to get tired of hearing my voice. And maybe you guys want to call in? Is anybody in the chat going to call in tonight?
Yeah, we do have somebody in the queue. Well, make sure you hit star 2 if you want to talk, you guys. And,
star 2. Yep.
Yeah, raise your hand so I know you want to talk. And, yeah, definitely, we'll be back tomorrow with Eileen. We'll chat some more, and yeah, thanks for chatting with me tonight.
I hope you guys mention the book again, because there's going to be people on the Power of 8 tomorrow that aren't in the chat tonight. So don't think we're being super egotistical, but I do want to mention to the people tomorrow night who don't know about it that it's there.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about that. They understand. They're excited.
Okay. As long as
they're as excited as we are.
Are they ever going to stop talking about this?
First he's setting out the book, right?
Oh, thank you, Dustin. I just grabbed the chat, and he said he doesn't get tired of hearing me talk. Okay. I am a chatterbox. That is so true. And, Dustin, I love your video tonight. I'm, super excited about it. Shane, when you get off, you got to go watch and see Dustin's last video. It's super cool.
Oh, nice. I'll definitely do that. Yeah, I love his videos.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. And it's great seeing you all in there. I would name you, but there's too many, and I'm going to leave somebody out, and then I'm going to look like a real meanie.
Yeah, I used to try to name people, and then I feel bad later. I'm like, I'm not naming anybody ever again, because I noticed I forgot somebody, and I felt real bad.
Somebody out, and now they think I don't like that.
It's horrible.
I know, it's kind of funny.
It's like, I don't know, it's just sort of like the kryptonite for us empaths, is to leave somebody out on accident.
It is, to hurt somebody. But Biker said she's going. She's got to go get her kids, so drive safely. He's at a football game.
Awesome.
And let's see. Oh, my God, Suso's in the chat. Suso, guess whose
Suso.
book I'm buying tomorrow? Suso, I'm buying your book tomorrow on Amazon because I had to finish my book before buying a friend's book. I felt like, get your book out there so that you're not influenced by friends' books. And now I can buy your book tomorrow. I'm so excited.
And I had actually already read Suso's book. I loved it. I thought it was a great read.
I know, because you interviewed him, when it came out.
Yeah.
And, everybody on the chat, don't only just buy our book, buy Suso's book, too. You'll have 2 great books to give out at Christmas time.
Yeah, Suso, go ahead and plug your book, man. Let me...
Yeah, plug your book. Feisty Kitty, you're making me
that a
laugh.
different...
She says, go on, Eileen, promote your book. Promote it.
Suso, I made you a mod, buddy.
So... Me and Fame, we get embarrassed if you think we're mentioning it too much.
Suso's book is Mandela Effect Mind Over Matter, I believe. I'm going off of memory, guys. I'm sorry if I
I remember.
Okay,
No,
sorry if
think
I
that's
jacked
it.
up. Yeah, it's something really close if that's not it. So
It's
hopefully,
got really
Suso.
cool colors on the front, and it's got a lot of mirrors, like going through the looking glass, the Alice looking glass. Lots of mirrors on the cover. Lots of green,
Yeah,
blue, yellow.
excellent. Well, thank you so much, Eileen.
Yeah,
I'll see you tomorrow night. Huh?
Shane did our cover. You guys got to go at least look at the cover. Shane did that. It's like the coolest cover ever because he's so talented.
Oh,
You know,
thank you
besides
so
what
much.
we know him for, he can do some awesome layout and design. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so
Okay,
much,
Susan's
Eileen.
going to put a link in, and then you can drop it in the show more notes. He's going to go get it.
Okay, I'm going to show them the cover while you're talking about it. So there's the cover.
Come
You
on.
guys-
So come on and chat with Shane about it. Okay, love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow night for a Power of 8. Don't know the topic yet, but hopefully I'll see you there.
Yeah, we'll be flying by the seat of our pants like
I'll
usual,
be
I guess.
Yeah,
Lots of
we'll
love
see
to
if
you,
there's a
Eileen.
storm coming. Okay, lots of love, Shane. Bye, guys. Love y'all.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's go.
You're listening to The Love Stream.
Unbiased and on the fence.
Alrighty, gonna go back to the phone lines. 661 area code. Who am I talking to?
I'm on. Hello?
Yes. Who am I
Hi,
talking
Shane.
to?
This is Maria. You don't know me. This is my first time calling in.
Maria? Okay.
Yes. I'm high vibing 888 on my screen name. Yeah, I tried to call in last week because I finally got my nerve up to do it, and I was on hold for a long time. After Terry was talking, then Sherry got on, and I'm like, yeah, after 45 minutes, I'm like, I'll hang up. I'll try next week. So here I am.
All right. Well, welcome to the call.
Thank you, Shane. Congratulations, you
Thank you.
and Eileen. Man, it's so exciting because I hopped on around. Well, I'm in LA, so Pacific time, and I didn't see your show on. I'm like, oh my God, are they going to have a show or not? So I went to go do some errands, and when I came back, you guys were on already, so I missed a lot.
Oh,
so
actually,
I'm like,
we
they're talking about a book.
Yeah, we came on at let's see, for you it would have been 5:30, 4:30, 5:30. Let me see. It would have been 5:30 for you.
Oh.
Instead of 5. We would
Yeah.
have
Oh,
normally
okay.
been on at 5. So we were 30 minutes late. You didn't miss as much as you thought. We've only been live for about an hour,
Oh.
it looks like.
Oh, okay. I don't feel so bad now.
So what's things like in
Oh, my
LA right
goodness.
now?
What did you say? I'm sorry. Let me turn
said-
my fan off. It's hot in here.
I said, how are things in LA right now?
In LA,
Yeah.
everything's fine here. Everything's cool right now.
Awesome.
Hey, listen. I have so much to share, and I don't even know where to start. So I want to talk about how I came to know your show. Or
Yeah, let's hear about it.
see, I'm nervous, so I apologize if I
Oh, no, that's
get
all right.
tongue-tied.
No, it's fine. You're
But,
with friends here. That's cool.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I still know some of you guys. I've been watching the show for like years. Well, it's been a year. Wait, it's 2018. Oh, it's because I watched all your replays from 2017. Maybe I did start in 2017. I don't remember. Time is weird now. I can't remember stuff anymore. So.
Oh, yeah. Time is weird. Welcome to the club on that one.
So I had a major, huge spiritual awakening in July of 2017, and I was blasted wide open all at once. I was shown everything, and I just could not believe what I learned in 6 hours of. I was just in a trance. So after I found out, I was a major Christian, okay, Christian background, Christian high school, yeah, and it really, I understood who Jesus really was and why he came. And I'm like, oh my God, the church has got it all wrong. I was just flipping out. I was like learning things, and I was like, no way. So after the vision was over, I felt like I was so high vibing, and I didn't even know what that meant at the time. But my vibes were so high, I was feeling oneness with the whole planet, with the animals, the plants, the earth, the humans, everybody. I was connected, and I never felt that before. It was just pure love. And even the people that got on my nerves that live across the street, I loved them. And I walked around for 3 weeks in this high vibe, oneness. And my body, I drink coffee. My body would not drink coffee anymore. I was repelled by it. And I couldn't eat meat anymore. I mean, I'm a meat eater, but couldn't eat meat. And I didn't know what was going on. And I kept vibrating.
Well, what
and
exactly
I didn't know what
happened?
was going on.
Okay, so this is July of 2017. Was there any specific thing that happened that month?
Dude, I don't know.
I mean, besides all of this stuff, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I mean, something that might have brought it on.
Yeah. Then I have to tell you another story, how I got there, because it's important. But okay. Okay. I had hard childhood, hard, adulthood. I'm a medium. I started seeing spirits around the time I was about 8 years old. That's when I started seeing things coming out of the wall. I think they were aliens, because you and Eileen were talking about this, and it made me remember seeing these beings coming out of a portal, out of a wall when I was 8 years old, and standing around my bed, and this happened all summer.
What color
that
was
year.
the portal,
and after
if you
that,
don't mind me asking? Sorry.
It was gold and white.
Okay.
Just white and gold. And the beings were also, and they were about 5 or 6 of them that would come around my bed, and they were tall, but they had no features. They were just light beings. And I could hear them whispering amongst themselves, going, it's creepy. And
You couldn't
I was
understand it, though?
paralyzed. No, I couldn't understand them, but I could hear them. And it's like they were observing me. So, and I don't remember if they took me or not. I just felt paralyzed on the bed. I couldn't move, but my eyes were open, and I could see them. And this carried on about 2-3 times a week for 3 months. And then it stopped all of a sudden. And then I started seeing spirits and, ghosts and strange things, scary things. So
did you ever interact with
always
them, or was it
scared.
just seeing them?
There was interaction, yes. Yes, interactions too.
So it started with seeing them, and it moved into, like, they could
It started
tell
with
that
seeing
you...
them, and some turned into imaginary friends, and those were my buddies that I hung out with. And then there were scary things that used to lurk around my room at night, and I would surround myself with my friends, which were stuffed animals, but they all talked to me.
You know what's so funny that you're
just
bringing this up, Maria? Because when I was a kid, my mom would see that I got up and ate cereal, and I had, like, other bowls set up on the table. She was like, "What are these other bowls?" And I'm like, "I was eating with my friends." And I did that a lot, but I don't know what friends I was talking about. So I might have had some experiences, and just, that's the only little thing I remember is telling my mom about that, and she just kind of chuckled, and I remember thinking, what friends am I thinking of, and I remember feeling the presence, like thinking back and remember feeling the presence while I was eating the cereal. I mean, it wasn't like a complete blank, but I didn't see anyone there in my memory. I just felt like they were there. So I still don't know if it was just I was half asleep dreaming something, or if something really happened. It's still a big mystery, question mark for me.
Yeah, most likely they were there. They were there. Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so see, it's neat to talk about stuff, right? Because there's probably others listening or will be listening that, oh yeah, I used to do that, or yeah, it's neat.
Never had anybody to talk to until now. That's why I love doing this. So I'm excited to hear where this leads. So you were raised Christian. Were you kind of, I guess, did your family say, hey, that's evil, the mediumship stuff you were doing?
Oh,
did they think it was the devil and all that too? You have to go through that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, my first half of my childhood, we were Catholics. Mm-hmm. And Catholics, they believe in weird stuff, They're superstitious people. But I came out of the church. I pulled away from the church when I was 12 on my own. I just didn't vibe with the Catholic Church. And but my parents were still Catholics. Mm-hmm. So I pulled away from the church, and I became a born-again Christian in charismatic churches, and that's been me until 2017. Yeah. But
so you're like on fire for God, going to church, doing all the things you're supposed to do, and really devoted. Yeah.
Very devoted, yes. But you know what? I wasn't perfect, I smoked cigarettes until last year. I was told, I have a demon I need to get rid of this demon in order for me to quit smoking. It's like, okay, that's one person told me that once, and it's like, that's crazy. So my teenage years, my early 20s, it was up and down. I didn't know that I was empathic because I kept feeling emotions of desperation and depression, and even at 9 years old, I remember feeling suicidal. 9-year-old feeling suicidal, and so I was very depressed after that. I felt depressed and oppressed throughout my adolescence and my teenage years and my early 20s. By the time I had my second child, I flat out thought I was going crazy because I was seeing and hearing things too much. It sounded like I was just hearing a lot of voices, but I was hearing voices that would tell me to hurt myself, to kill myself, and it would scare me. And finally, I checked myself in, and they diagnosed me bipolar disorder. Mood
did you
disorder
recognize those voices weren't yours at the time, or did they feel like your own voices?
They weren't mine.
And you knew that they weren't yours?
They weren't mine. I knew they weren't mine.
Okay.
But the
that's a
psychiatrist
huge distinction.
all,
I think a lot of people don't realize that, and then, they're sort of tricked by those voices because they associate with them. But it's cool that you knew they weren't coming from you.
Yeah, I knew they weren't coming from me because I can tell a difference between my own thoughts and these voices were all at once, and there are different types of voices, and male, female, whispering, sounding like creepies. It's like, it was awful. So I went on medication. So my whole 20s and all my 30s and all my 40s, so 30 years off and on meds, checking myself in, just seeing things, thinking I'm just going crazy because the church wouldn't support me in this. And I suppressed it. I ran away from it. It's a curse. They're demons. It was hard. I struggled. And the life was a struggle. It was a struggle, and I couldn't even keep jobs. I went from job to job to job because I felt like I couldn't find my purpose. I couldn't find what I was here for, and I felt like I needed to find out, but I didn't know what it was, so I was just constantly depressed. What is that?
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
It might be my grandson in the background if you're hearing a little kid. He's out there yelling and playing. I don't hear anything else, though. What do you hear?
I heard static right now, and I heard voices in the phone. That happens to me a lot.
I wonder if they hear it. Did you guys hear it in the chat? I'm going to ask them because it's delayed, and I'm not hearing what they're hearing, but they might have heard something. We might have had an EVP come through. That'd be awesome. I didn't hear it,
might have been, man. Shoot.
That's cool, though. So wow. It's awesome. So you really, before you came to our group or found us and all of us other crazy people, quote unquote, had you found any other like-minded people?
Dude, it was you guys. I gelled
that's so
with you
awesome
guys.
To hear that. Yeah, that's so awesome.
Man. God, it was hard. I was like, okay, let me just fast forward real quick. Okay, so So back in 2014, I saw a medium. Well, she wasn't a medium; she was a healer. My aunt asked me if I would like to see her because she could help with my depression, and I'm like, yeah, okay, because I didn't believe in any of that stuff. But she said she already paid it for it, so I went to see this energy healer, and she tapped into me, and I could feel the energy coming from her. It was like G-force. I felt pushed back into my chair, but she didn't speak to me. She spoke Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish. But she was speaking in Spanish, and she just was holding a pendulum, and it was swirling, and she goes, "You're feeling my angels," she said. Angels. So, dude, what is that? You don't hear that?
No. Oh, was it me typing that time? Was it clicking? Sorry, I might have typed.
No, it sounded like
Static?
like a subway train pulling on their brakes.
Can you?
What the heck was that?
Oh, really? Can you hear my grandson though? Well, now it gets quiet. Go figure.
I don't hear nothing.
Yeah, everything got
Okay.
quiet when I asked, of course. But I saw somebody in the chat say they didn't hear, and then someone else said they noticed they hurt my grandson a little bit. Dean, screaming machine.
It's on my side then.
Yeah,
That's
and they
on
didn't hear the
my
static.
side.
I wonder if you can record your
Whoa.
call. You might want to. See if you can pick something up.
Oh, I don't know. I'm on my house phone. I'm using a house phone. Because my internet, it's not that great. So, yeah. So where was I?
Yeah, they hear the kid. They don't hear the, the static, though. Okay, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the energy healer told me I had thousands and thousands of spirits connected to me. And I go, how does that happen? But she didn't tell me. She just said that they were attracted to me. And so they follow me, and they're stuck. And so she sent them into the light. And she told me, can you hear me? Because my internet's acting dumb.
Yeah, did she say they were negative or positive, or did she even say they were one or the other?
No, they were just earthbounds,
Mm-hmm.
So I probably was, if they were attached to me, then I was feeling them and hearing them and not realizing it. These people. There were thousands of them, she said. And so, and then she said it was one demon, that's what she said, that was attached to me. Mm-hmm. And she said, you brought him to you. You brought him. And I'm like, I did. She goes, you did something. And I'm like, well, when I was 23, I checked out a whole bunch of witchcraft books. Mm-hmm. I started to rebel against God. I was very angry with God because I guess it was these spirits doing this to me. I don't know. But I remember being angry with God, and I went and checked out books on witchcraft. Mm-hmm. And I brought it home. And I wanted to conjure up the spirit of my father because he died when I was 16, and I needed to ask him something. So I followed the directions, and I used salt to make the pentagram, and I put a candle in the middle, and I lit the candle, and everything's dark in my room. No windows are open, nothing. There's no breeze or anything. And I'm doing the chant, and this I felt something come into the room. Mm-hmm. And the candle blew out. When the candle blew out, I freaked out, and I broke the pentagram. I smeared it. Mm-hmm. So I broke it. So I released whatever it was I conjured up unknowingly, and I just started saying, Lord, I'm sorry, forgive me. And I never did it again. And she goes, that's what you did, and it's been with you ever since. So it took her a few tries to get rid of it, she said, but she got rid of it. And then I go, so what do I do to keep it from happening again? And she goes, think positive thoughts and stay happy and get off your medication. She told me to get off my medication, and I was like, oh, no, I'm not getting off my medications. But 3 months later, I did get off my meds, and I started to feel led, and you guys are going to think I'm crazy. Sorry, no, you're not.
Not in this group.
I felt led. Yeah. I felt led to take psychedelics. Mm-hmm. And I never I don't do drugs. No.
What kind
I
did you
didn't
do?
smoke pot. LSD. LSD.
One or two hits?
I think it was a double
Okay.
by accident.
Yeah, I heard you're
It was
supposed to do
an
two every
accident.
time. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I guess I did it right because, yeah, the whole trip was 6 hours of truth, 6 hours of disclosure. I just knew everything. They showed me everything. I kept saying they because guides were taking me places, and I would take off and I'm like, they're taking me again, and I would go, and I saw so many things that I should write a book, but like you guys, I should write a book.
Yeah.
But I understood the how we're all connected.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that, but the tree showed me. My tree showed me that she's connected to me, and she showed light coming from her essence, going into the ground and spreading into the other shrubs and trees in my yard, and how they're all connected. And then she connected into me, and then connected into the universe, the cosmos. And I'm like, oh my God, we're all connected. And I didn't know that. It's like those are the kind of understandings I was receiving that night. I learned that we can time travel. I saw parallel universes. I saw the future. I saw the past.
It's all
that
there
time
to be
doesn't
visited.
exist. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's like time is a construct, and it's even disease. They told me disease doesn't exist. It's an illusion. I'm like, oh my God, but being when you come back down to your 3D, it's heavy here, but when you're way up there, you understand it, and there's no fear. For the first time, I felt no fear, and I felt free. And I'm like, oh my God. And my husband, still being a born-again Christian, was like, don't you lose your religion. I'm like, and I went through rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole, searching for answers. YouTube was my best friend, dude. When I came across you, I kept going back to you and searching, but I kept watching you, and there was something about you. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I think we got a connection. A lot of us have that feeling,
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, why would so many people stuck around, when so many come and go? But there's the few of us that feel that connection. We know that we're here for a reason. We might not know exactly what it is, but we know we're in the right place when we're here together. And I don't know, you can just feel it. I can feel the love. I can feel the connection. And I can even feel the familiarity with so many people that it's like, why do I feel so connected? Why do these people feel so familiar to me? But I know on a deeper level I understand,
True. It's true. It's true because I connect with a lot of people on the chat, and I don't talk. I never really participated the whole year. I just watched, and I learned so much from your show. I've learned and grown so much, and I've watched you grow.
Yeah, we're growing together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your confidence, your demeanor, the way you glow now. I can see you shifting right before my eyes, and I'm like, we all are.
You're giving me chills because I'm so embarrassed to watch those first videos, and I thought, no, people got to see how much different I seem now because,
Yes, don't take them down, man.
You can't make that up over time because you can actually see the transformation.
Nope.
You can see me go from looking really stressed out to being much happier.
Yes.
And it's like a timeline of my journey, and so many people have been with me. And we're all together on this journey, so I love it. I love that we can share our experiences. We're growing together, and my whole life has been doing this by myself, so just to have other people with me that we can share stuff with is a completely new paradigm for me, and I know it is for a lot of people.
Dude, it's like we're a soul tribe, man. We're a soul tribe, and no, E-Steady, man. I followed you guys there in spirit, man. I followed you guys there in spirit. Everything you posted, I was like, oh my God, I felt like I was there with you guys. It's amazing.
Feisty Kitty,
Yeah,
who was
so-
also at ESETI, she's saying, Maria, no more lurking. You're our sister. You chat from now on. That's good.
You guys, I know I started talking. I think I started to interact last week. It was last week I introduced myself, and I started participating in what you guys were talking about at the time. And there was the episode. It was I think August. No, that was with Michelle. With Eileen. It was with Eileen. Of Power of Eight. You guys were talking about those P3B. I think that's what they're called. They're the triangle ships. Those triangle ships that have been like reverse
TR3Bs,
engineered.
Yeah.
Yeah, those. You guys were talking about those, right? And I did a reading for somebody back in June, and I picked up on galactic beings, and I picked up on his I guess it was in like another aspect of his life, on another timeline or another dimension.
Yeah.
But he was an engineer. He's an engineer on a ship that this ship can open portals. And I was describing it to him, and he's like, okay. And I'm like, well, I see these big. I mean, I was trying to describe the creatures. No, they weren't creatures. They're ETs. And they have the big head, the big eyes. They look like grays, but they're not. They're tall. They were taller. I don't know what they were, but I know what grays look like. They're little short guys, but these guys were taller. And
the tall grays.
next to
I
them,
heard there's short ones and then tall ones, so that doesn't sound surprising to me.
Okay. And right next to them was a mantid being. He was hooded, but I could see his eyes. He was an insect. He was a praying mantis dude. And I'm like, okay. So when I go into these readings, when I see things, I say it right there and then. I don't wait until the session's over and say, oh, this is what I saw. I have to say it while I'm seeing it because I will forget. So a lot of times I tell the client to please record this so you can go back later because I don't remember what I'm saying. So they showed me this triangle-shaped ship. I looked up, and what I was seeing in my vision was the sky, even though I was looking at the ceiling, but my eyes were closed. So I could see the sky, and I see this hovering ship right above me, and it's a triangle-shaped ship, and I could feel the material. I said, this material is not of this earth. I could feel the material was off-planet material. I'm like, no, we don't have these alloys. We don't have this type of material to make this kind of ship. And I drew it, and I sent it to you. I sent it to you because on your website, and because when Eileen showed the pictures of those ships, that's when it clicked. And I'm like, they're real? They're real? So then I started searching online. I'm like, oh, my God, they're real. And I'm like, these are reverse engineered. And so that's why I felt like I needed to share. I'm like, I have so many experiences. Okay, so
back to July
of
yeah. I didn't mean to get you off track with the July of 2017 thing, but I think that was an important background that you've given us
about the childhood and the depression and all that crap.
Yeah, and
I know it's like I didn't want to go that far, you know. I left out a lot of details, but it was just to give you the gist of it, of how I came
where you were
to where I'm at now.
Yeah, so where were you, like, right as this was happening? Were you in your dark night of the soul? Were you really depressed, feeling like things were meaningless, or did you have a time like that at any point?
No. Yes, I did. After my awakening, I did. Yes.
Okay.
Because I was struggling with my religion. Because after the awakening, it was 6 hours of craziness, and then it started to dissipate. And the last person that I met, because I met a lot of beings, the last person that I met was Source, and I didn't know that term, Source. I just knew him as God. So I just was standing in the midst of the nothingness, and I saw this bright light, and it was so bright, it was brighter than the sun, but it did not burn my eyes. And I felt an encompassing, enveloping, within the cells, unconditional love that I've never felt before. Mm-hmm. And I was just dumbfounded, and I was just in this bliss, and he said, I am Source. And I'm like, Source? And then I felt this might be God. So I said, are you God? And he said, yes. And I said, can I still call you God? And he goes, yes. And he told me many things. Mm-hmm. I said, I have to write a book or something. Okay, so when I came down, I finally got to sleep a couple hours. Mm-hmm. The next day, I was in that bliss state for 3 weeks, just blissed out. And I was high-vibing so much. Like I said, I couldn't eat meat, I couldn't drink coffee, all that stuff. And then I started searching. I wanted to know what's happening to me. Mm-hmm. And that's when I was doing the searches and the rabbit holes. Mm-hmm. And all the ascension symptoms, that's what I was looking up too. But the Mandela effect, dude, that's a totally different thing. I'll get into that another time.
Yeah, right.
So I went into this spiral of depression because I didn't understand. When my vibes started to come back down and I felt back grounded, then I started to feel the guilt and, oh my God, I sinned. I took drugs. Oh my God, But then I said, no. I felt it in my bones. I felt that what I experienced was real, and what I found out was true. And I'm like, I was searching the Bible, and then that's what did it for me with the lion and the lamb thing.
Oh,
the Mandela.
That's a
that
trip.
Really did it for me right there.
For sure.
Yeah, because anyway.
Like everybody knows that scripture.
Yeah,
you don't even have to go to church to know that one. It's like, come on, guys, you don't even have to have spent a day in church to even know that scripture. Everyone knows about the lion and the lamb, right?
Yeah. So I went through that. It was really dark for me. It was super dark. I was feeling like if I turn my back on the church, I'm going to go to hell. I'm going to go to hell. Then I go, no, there's no hell. There's no hell. And then I go, but they taught me it's hell. So I went through that. It was a struggle. It took me. I still slip back sometimes. I still slip, But then I know that there's so much more than that. Religion is. Yeah, I don't want to go there right now either. But but I'm free. I'm free, Shane. I'm free. And now
feels
I feel
good, doesn't it?
Oh my God, it feels great.
So I had no idea that that because you have this fear that you get out of religion and all of a sudden you're going to feel backslidden and lost and all of this. And man, it was such a huge load to take all of that and realize that, I can be cool with Jesus and I don't need all this man-made stuff on top of it, It's liberating.
I know, dude. Look, all my life in religion and I could not shake the depression, okay? I'm off meds and the spiritual awakening, and I went through my dark night of the soul, but I hung in there because I felt spiritually supported. I felt angels around me. They were around me, and I never seen angels before. I thought angels only went to the elite, not for simple people like me. But yeah, I started seeing angels, and I started to feel nudged to quit smoking because I was smoking like crazy after this. And I kept crying about it because I was smoking since I was 14, and I quit 100 million times, all the ways you can think of, except hypnotism. I never tried that. But I asked the angels, okay, you guys want me to quit? You got to help me. No side effects. No, I don't want to feel it because that's what I'm afraid of. Dude, I quit on July 1st, 2018. I cried smoking my last cigarette on the midnight. The next morning when I woke up, no cravings.
Wow.
No side effects.
It's like you
Nothing.
were never smoking.
Like I never smoked. I got a healing. That's what happened to me.
That is awesome.
Because I didn't go through the withdrawals or anything. And I'm like, something's up. Something's
So
happening.
you just basically just asked. You said, I want to quit. Help me take the side effects away, and you got your request. So just so anybody listening knows, it's worth a try.
Yeah. The difference, but listen, Shane, I didn't want to quit. I was afraid to quit. I didn't want to quit, but they kept saying, you got to quit. You need to quit. I felt like I was being nagged. For the whole month of December, I felt like I was being nagged, and finally I said, okay, you guys want me to quit. See, I didn't say I want to quit, but you guys want me to quit. So I don't know, this is different. But hey, asking, always ask. That's true. That's very true. But I knew something was going on. I'm like, something's happening. This is magic. This has to be, I know, and I'm thinking, God is real. Of course he's real, but miracles don't happen to me. You know, I'm like, so, fast forward, I ended up taking. Okay, I got led to take a class on. It was called the 2018 Intuitive Intensive class. It was on a Facebook group that I found while I was doing my rabbit holes, and I connected with a female who also has a Christian background, who has a YouTube channel. I started following her, and she was a Bible thumping preacher girl too, and now she's a spiritual teacher. She's amazing. So she taught me about chakras. I didn't know anything about this. I didn't know how to meditate. I didn't know about all these modalities in the energy, spiritual modalities, you know, healing and all this stuff. I didn't know anything about it, but I clicked with the mediumship because that's when I really figured out I was a medium. Because it was so easy for me when we did practicing. It was so easy for me connecting with loved ones from people all over the world. I can connect on the phone. I'm like, oh, your dad's here. You know, that kind of stuff. It just comes real easy for me in that way. So I started practicing that. But I really wanted to get tarot cards, but I was still afraid of them because, I'm like, I can't help it that I'm talking to spirits. And then my husband would search the Bible for me and say, mediumship was under the law. Like, Jewish people weren't allowed to see mediums. But it's not mentioned in the New Testament. In fact, Jesus was a medium. He spoke to Elijah and Moses. And he spoke to Lazarus, and Lazarus was raised from the dead. So you can speak to the dead. Jesus was our example. I'm like, thank you. So my husband started he started to wake up and grow with me, Shane, little by little, because he would check the Bible, and he'd say, well, like it made him question what we were taught in the church. So he started researching the Bible, and he started to see, well, the church confused this. You know, this is what this really means. So he started to really open up more to what I was going through, and he became my support system. So I said, the tarot cards, they're just a tool. I mean, they're a tool to connect with spirit. So why can't I use them? I'm going to use them. So I got some and started using them, and I learned how to use them. And I started practicing with my open family, who's a little open. My immediate family, I have 4 adult children, and I have grandchildren, but I don't do readings on the children. But I started doing readings. I would start practicing, and then my kids would bring their friends over. I would practice with them, and then they were like, God, it's so accurate. But then I started picking up on people's potentials, missions, life missions, soul missions. I started picking up on deeper things, not just, your grandma's here, or, you know. No, it was going a little higher than that. There were, I started feeling energy coming out of my hands, and I'm like, something's happening to me. So I started being drawn to Reiki, and I started seeing visions of me holding my hands above people's heads, like healing. And then I said to Spirit, I accept. I guess they were showing me, if you want to go this route, it's open to you. And I accepted it. I said yes to it. And I ended up all these synchronicities happened, and I ended up taking a Reiki class for $20.
Oh,
because,
wow.
Yeah, I was researching it. And it's like $240 for one class, and then you got to pay another, $240 for another. That was like the cheapest one I could find. I don't have no money. I'm like, shit. So I got hooked up with somebody who was a master, but she never taught a class before, and she was feeling led to start teaching it. And then somebody said, oh, so-and-so's teaching it, and it's for donations only. So I'm like, dude. So I got in for $20. That's all I had to give, and I learned a lot, and I got activated. So I ended up taking the second class, $20. No, she didn't charge me. She exchanged for a reading. She goes, can you do a reading on me, and I will teach you the Reiki 2, attunement. She attuned me to Reiki 2. So I was like, sure. So then people from her group were offering their services to me in exchange for my services, or exchanging, like, people were giving me gifts like crystals, just sage, just nice little cute gifts, candles. And I was like, wow, this is nice. I'm doing readings and I'm getting gifts for it. So it felt good that I felt like I was helping others. And in exchange, I was getting really cool stuff. So I'm like, well, I kind of like this, Yeah. And then recently, during my meditations, I go places. I go on journeys. I can go off planet. I can go around the world. I can go anywhere I want, future, past, anywhere. I just make an intention, and then I go. And these visions, I've been journaling them, because I would meet with masters. I walked with Jesus, dude, on a cobbled road. I've talked to elementals, and they would give me secrets, things like that. I'm like,
so this is
dude,
during
so
your
I'm writing
meditation? Do you like go
during
into a
my
trance? Or?
meditations. Right. And I didn't know what I was doing. It
Well,
was
how
just
did you start
happening.
doing it? Because, see, I was talking to Sherry. She can go really deep in BQH, and it came through in one of the sessions that she doesn't even need BQH. She can tap in. So how do you go about doing it? You just meditate and imagine where you want to go or who you want to talk to, or what?
It's gotten so easy now for me. All I do is center myself, and I quickly say that I am connected, and I connect to the crystalline core of the new earth. I started connecting there about a year ago. It's like, I don't want to connect to the old earth anymore. I want to connect to the higher earth.
Heck
so
yeah.
I connect with my root, with my root chakra, and then I connect to I always connect to the Christ consciousness. I just feel safe connecting there.
yeah, I don't blame you.
But then, that's my safety right there, the Christ consciousness. And then I set myself up, because I imagine myself standing by a tree in my backyard, my favorite tree. And sometimes I'm compelled to go down into the roots and go down and speak to the beings that live in the middle earth or inner earth, or there's people living down there. I found that out last year. Or I climb the tree, and there's always a cloud waiting for me when I climb the tree, and I end up in the other realm. And then
when you climb the tree, you like go
into
into another realm, you're saying?
Yes, that's where I
neat.
go. And then I wait for a guide to come, or a door will open for me, or tunnels will appear, and I'm led to go into one of them, and I end up places. Well, someone gave me advice to start recording my voice when I go into my meditations, because I'm trying to write this down while I'm having the vision with my eyes closed. So I have scribbles that I'm trying to transcribe, because I don't remember what I see, or I don't remember what I say. And so I said, I should try that. So I've been using my phone voice recorder, and I lay it on my chest, and then I listen to meditation music. Sometimes I listen to shamanic drumming, or it depends on my mood, or like higher vibrational ones or lower vibrational ones. It depends. Binary beats, that kind of stuff. I have to be listening to something, because if I'm not I'm distracted very easily.
Do you
So I
find
need
that
to
you
have my
need it
ears.
as? Do you find that you use it as an anchor as well, like a sound anchor, sort of? I don't know, sort of to anchor yourself in place with sound to realize where you're at. Does that make sense? Or no?
That does make sense.
Okay.
I don't use it as an anchor. No. What's strange is that when I do readings, I could do readings in a crowd. Doesn't bother me. I can tap into people. Like I could have kids crying in the background. It gets it a little hard to keep the connection, but I could do it. But when I want to go deep, when I want to go really deep, I have to have the music to keep me from being pulled back.
And you don't always remember.
No, I don't.
Is that whether you go deep
I
or not,
remember
or is it only when you go
pieces.
deep?
I don't have to go that deep. I still don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I could be standing over someone when I'm doing energy healing, and I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and then once the session's over, I'm like, I think I saw, and they say, you said you saw ISIS, and I'm like, oh, that's what I saw, yeah, and then I would recall, but the details will start fading, and so I remember bits and pieces. But it's like waking up from a dream and you start to lose it. Like, oh, wait, you start losing the details. That's what it's like waking up from a dream and then you're like, oh, my God, I'm forgetting, like that. So the music helps me stay in a deep, because this is the reason. This has been happening for the past 3 weeks, and I've been tripping on this. I've been getting more and more bombardment by galactic beings. And I'm ending up in spaceships and talking to all kinds of beings. And I'm shaking. I'm crying. I don't know. I'm not scared. I'm just blown away.
Yeah.
I'm really blown away because
a lot of times the love you feel, the peace and all that is just so overwhelming. Do you find that to be true too when you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. That's how I know it's real. I'm like, my mind didn't create this, and you feel the chills and the love and all that.
Oh, yeah, you can feel it because, I mean, they let you know in every way they can. We have all these senses and extra senses. So they're going to communicate with every sense that they can to let you know that they're real, that they're really here, and you just know because we are divine. We are so connected with everything. And then when we recognize it, we just know that. We just know. And we just like we know when someone's lying, we know when someone's speaking truth. We can feel it in every cell of our bodies. It's amazing. So I'm seeing these beings now, and they're telling me stuff like about the energies hitting the earth. They're telling me stuff about what ships are up here, what are they doing, who's patrolling who, something about a Stargate in some quadrant somewhere, requesting. I was like, I'm part of, because I went blank. I'm part of I'm an ambassador. That's what I feel like. I'm an ambassador. So I go into these meetings where people are asking, they're just beings. That's all I can say. Requesting things like this one female. I could describe her if you want me to.
Yeah, please do.
She approached the board or whoever we are. See, I'm still kind of in the dark. I'm barely learning this stuff. This started happening 3 weeks ago. So this being stands before us, and she's tall, like 6'4", built like an Amazon woman, skin like an African woman. I kept picking up Amazon, a warrior woman. She's just amazing. I'm like, oh my God. And she was wearing like a uniform like a soldier. No, wait. I noticed something. She had something strange on her head too. There was like a headpiece. I don't know what it was. Okay, but that doesn't matter. So,
was it like a hat? Was it like an accessory, or was it like some type of technology though? Thinking back on it.
It was technology. It was technology.
Okay.
Technology. It was made out of metal, and I don't know. It was neat though. Like, I don't know what it was.
Like a headset.
Maybe I'll find out later. It was a headset of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I don't know what it was, but
maybe it went to the brain instead of the ears or something. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, because it looked like, seriously, it looked like it was connected to her head in some way.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So now, it's like, I know the people that's listening in the chat are like, why have you waited so long to call in and start sharing all this awesome information?
I mean, no, dude, like I said, this galactic stuff started happening seriously 3 weeks ago, and this is when I started feeling the urge to call in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of a sudden, I'm getting all this information, but I'm going, what's happening? Why are they showing me all this? Why am I getting all this information? Is this real? I mean, for example, so she's asking for permission to contact base planets and request 5 more ships. She said what kind of ships they were, but I wrote it all down. I already transcribed it.
Mm-hmm.
After I record it, I put it away for a day. I don't listen to it. The next day I listen to it, and I'm like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I type it up, and I'm like, who do I share this with? I'm like, who do I share this with? And I'm like, I already contacted Michelle last night, dude. I already talked to her.
Michelle
She's going to
Wolf?
help me get this. Yep.
Awesome.
I felt guided to talk to her. In fact, last year, I have it in one of my journals. Last year in May,
mm-hmm.
they told me to contact Michelle, and I said, no, she's going to think I'm a crazy woman. I'm not going to call her. But they kept telling me to call her. I wrote it down, and when I find it, I'm going to take a copy. I'm going to take a picture, and I'm going to send it to her. I'm like, look, they told me a year ago, it's even dated, that Michelle was going to be a mentor for me. I don't know. She's younger than me, but she's smart.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's going to help. I know she's going to. I felt it in my bones. I'm like, she says she's going to help me get this messages out.
Definitely. Yeah,
so,
this is awesome. Now you got an outlet.
Woman,
I mean, you were sent this way. You got this information flowing through, and you've got a way to get it out to the group, the family. We're all anxious to hear it. We're like, go ahead, start reading.
Man, I mean, need some water, dude.
But yeah, you could keep stuff going to Michelle. We could, if you've ever got anything that's coming through and you want to share it, send it to me or Michelle, and we can present it, or you can call in and share it on Friday. So, and that goes for anybody out there.
Much.
If you guys feel like you've been given something and you want to get it out to the people, people can hear it, and if they resonate with it, great. So just, if you're feeling like sharing, share. Don't hesitate. It's the right group.
Wonderful. Yeah, because I've been feeling urgencies lately. Urgencies to light workers to get on the ball. Let's go. We gotta raise the energies. It's like an urgency. That's what I'm feeling. The energies are getting stronger, and what's happening is, like, I'm changing the subject, Shane. Another show. Let me get back to the to this woman, this being. She asked for 5 more ships, battleships. That's what she said. But she said she needed the ones that are fitted with the cannons. And I'm like, cannons? And so there was a little alien dude sitting next to me, and I asked him. I whispered in his. I didn't whisper. Seriously, it was telepathy. Everything's telepathic. Everything out there. But I still moved my mouth like that, because I'm human. So I asked him, what kind of cannons are they? And he showed me, through telepathy, he showed me another little movie in my head of what the cannons do.
Mm-hmm.
And the cannons disable the ship, the enemy ship. It doesn't, it's like a EM...
EMP
what do you call
pulse?
that when the... Yeah, it's almost like that, but it's alien technology. And, because let me back up. She said, because I wanted to know who she was. Man, dude, I wish I had it in front of me so I could read it to you, because I don't remember the details. But she told me she was from a peaceful planet, and her people are peaceful, but they are protectors of the Stargate. And I'm like, Stargate. And then I didn't hear what quadrant. They mentioned a quadrant, and I don't know which one because that was muffled. I didn't hear it. So I'm like, okay, maybe they didn't want to give me that information. But they guard it because enemy ships keep getting through. And now they need support. They're asking for support, and they got permission to do it. So I'm like, cool. So then I asked somebody there if I could explore the ship, and I was granted permission, but I had an ensign walk me around, and he told me he was a Zeta because I asked him. I looked at him, and I'm like, dude, and I like to describe what I see, and I'm like, he's lanky, he's skinny, but he's got a big head and a little tiny mouth, but he's got big eyes, and he's very intelligent. And then he told me, oh, I guess he could hear me because I was thinking it. And he said that he said he had DNA. No, he had human DNA. He said, I have human DNA, but I'm not human. I'm like, okay. He goes, I'm a Zeta.
Was he short?
And I go, yeah. Well, no. He wasn't short. I got his height. He was 5'8". I got his height. Okay. And he was very young. And he said that I'm only half Zeta. And then he showed me a vision of breeding, of how some species do it from different planets or whatever. It was really quick. And I'm like, then he asked, do we do that, like humans? And I'm like, well, we do breed different. We are a human race, but we are segregated by skin color, Latinas and, that kind of stuff, but not other species. And he's like, oh, like he was curious. It was a trip. So we walk into a mess hall, and so I described the mess hall. I'm like, it kind of reminded me of a Star Trek mess hall. One of those. I'm like, Voyager? No, I don't know. And I was given information about the ship. It felt like a ship, like a UN type ship. It was a universal ship because I was looking around the mess hall and there was many different types of beings, but they were all like in their own little groups, like different crews. And they're like on standby, and they come there to kind of rest, like get a little time out, and then they go back to whatever they're doing. So this ship is full of different beings and different crews from different places.
Sounds almost like a place that you would find a bunch of ambassadors representing a bunch of, like you said, you're an ambassador.
Right? I'll make it rain, right? It's a trip, dude. It's a trip. And then I heard somebody tell me that this ship was provided by the Federation of Planets. And that's all I got. And I was back on my bed, and like it was over. I don't know if I got too much information and they booted me out, because I even said that at the end. I'm like, man, they got me off that ship quick.
Oh, shout out to Michelle Wolf, Imagination Warrior, hopped in here. We were just talking about you, Michelle. You must have had your ears tingling or something.
I did it, Michelle.
Oh, she encouraged you to call?
Story. Yes, she did.
Oh,
she did. And then, that's
such
why
a great group we have here that,
and
I'm so glad to chat, because I have no control over who hops in here, but man, the people that come in here are so supportive and so awesome. And, I just feel so blessed that so many wonderful people all come here and hang out and share their experiences together. I mean, it's awesome. It's hard to wrap my head around sometimes.
I know. And it's growing. It's everywhere.
And how many people you're encouraging right now that are lurkers, that's been listening for as long as you have, and you're encouraging them right now. So you can really see how it's all working together. We're all helping each other out, directly, indirectly. It's beautiful when you can kind of stand back and see it all meshing together, and everything's working out just like it should, I feel like,
See,
coming together.
We're all different parts of one body, and we all are important, and we all have something to offer in this ascension. You guys, man,
Yeah.
I'm getting all excited now.
Yeah, I was shown how everybody's like a pixel of this grand picture, and you need every pixel to make the complete image of everything. So everyone's important right where they're at.
Slowly, and they're slowly being turned on.
Yeah.
And we're affecting everybody. This I know. We can walk around, just go food shopping, go to the gas station, and the people who walk by us, we don't even have to look at them. We are affecting their energy. We raise them up just a little every single time. And we
activate each other, too, when we see each other.
When we activate each other. And we recognize each other. I've been noticing that.
Mm-hmm.
People just all of a sudden start talking about this stuff they feel like they can.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about experiences or something at the liquor store. I was over there buying a beer. Yes, I can drink beer freely and not feel guilty anymore. I like to have it once in a while.
Do you remember ever being at a time where you're drinking a beer and you're like, man, I hope Jesus doesn't come back right now because I won't get to go. I'm drinking it. To live in that kind of fear, like this loving God is going to redirect you because of something you're drinking at the time. It's actually really laughable, but it's not when you're in it. Of course, it's super serious. You're like, man. And I don't know how often I thought, man, am I going to have time to repent for my sins before I actually draw my last breath, and how will I die? And I don't know. It was just so much fear involved with religion when I was in it that I don't have now, so I'm thankful for that.
But you know what, though? Especially in this country, there are so many people that are going to need us that have come out of the church.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you helped me, Shane, because I saw you coming through, questioning things, and I'm like, oh, he's my brother in Christ. Yeah. I can just hang with him, I'll just hang with him, and you, it's like you held my hand through it all. And
it is painful when you have to leave all your Christian friends, and it's like they're looking at you like you've abandoned everything. You've abandoned Jesus, and you've abandoned us, and you're backslidden, but it's really not like that at all. It's like, man, I'm sorry I've got to leave you guys. This is where my journey leads me, and I got to follow my heart. But I didn't know I'd come into this clearing and find all of you guys that also felt the need to push on through the religion to find a deeper truth. So I'm so thankful that we can find all these other Christians.
Yes, because it like I said, like the other one that I was really drawn to, because she had a Christian background and she talked about it freely.
Yeah.
And I think we help a lot of others that are coming out of the church that are baffled, going, what's happening to me? And they start questioning it, and they need others that have come out of the church so we can help them. We can help them see, take the blinds off their eyes, and help them see, if that's what they want, free will. But still. All right.
Yeah, and that's sort of the other thing that's sort of come to me lately is that all we have to do is really love people, treat them well, and I mean we can try to share stuff, but we don't have to push anything on anybody. They'll wake up when it's their time. We don't have to feel stressed about it. I know some people have loved ones and they feel like they're asleep, they're going to get left behind, and there's just all this stress. And I just want to say, you guys, everybody's on their own journey. Don't feel stressed. They'll wake up when they're supposed to. Just keep loving them, and don't feel like it's your duty to wake anybody up. Just be there for them when they do wake up.
Dude, seriously, they are just fine. Because being a medium, I've seen the other side. I've seen everybody's different heavens. Everybody has their own heaven. It's crazy, but I don't see a hell. The only hell that I see is their own of their own making. Like, what if you expect to go to hell and you feel like you were such a bad person, you might be in a lower vibrational place, but not a torment. But I have a major theory, and that's another story. It's huge, but it's like different. The dimensions are the dimensions that exist are so vast. It's infinite. That's the word, infinite. And there's just so many planes to exist in.
Yeah.
It's mind-baffling, boggling. It makes my brain hurt because I can't explain it. It's like I need to be a physicist in order to explain it. I'm just a normal housewife. Not normal. I'm not normal, but, I mean, I don't know this stuff. I don't know how to explain it. So I know Michelle can help me because she's smart.
But you can see it, and that's another thing that you just kind of described what I had seen, how just the reality itself is so fluid and dynamic that people are plugged in at different points, getting different information, and it appears that even some of the information is contradictory, but it really isn't, because there's just all this sea of probability, possibility, that's just, quantum, I mean, anything's possible.
Yes, it's constantly moving. Like you said, it's fluid. And so there's like, I want to say there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. There's no, it's crazy. That's why we need to raise our consciousness, dude, because we're so used to this matrix. We're so limited. We limit ourselves, but we don't know how expansive we are, how truly powerful we are, how magnificent we are, how creative, divine energies that we are. And we're just living this life here, experiencing these emotions, experiencing life, because we know it's hard here. We come here anyways.
Yeah. Because
this is where we learn. This is our classroom here. We learn so much because it helps us grow. And then we just move on to different, we can repeat ourselves here if we want, or we can go somewhere else. We can go wherever we want.
Yeah.
And where it could be at one place, more than one place at one time. There's other Shanes. There's other yous. And oh my God, it's crazy. It's too much.
Yeah.
Too much, Shane. And I'm like, all this is unfolding for me. Learning this stuff, since 2017, because I learned a lot in that LSD trip. Yeah, so.
Awesome.
Yeah, I learned a lot. So.
Well, I honestly, I'm not just saying this either, Maria, but I feel really blessed to have you with our group, and just for you to be so connected and have an outlet to share what you're getting, and I'm so glad that you came out and introduced yourself, is what I'm saying.
Thank you, Shane. I feel really, really proud of myself that I came out here and did it, because I was having stage fright and I kept almost hanging up. And I'm like, Eileen, keep talking, Eileen. And I'm like, then I heard you guys ready to hang up, and my stomach started to get really twisted up. I'm like, I can't do this. And my voice started to shake, and I feel more relaxed now. I feel
better
better.
once you get started, isn't it? Just so people that are thinking about calling in, it'll be really or not embarrassing, but nervous at first. But it gets better. It's just like we're talking on the phone. So once you realize I'm not out to get you. You know what I mean?
Shane, I freaking love you, man. You're my brother.
Oh, yeah. I love you guys, too. Yeah. I'm so blessed to have this. I'm so blessed that you guys found me and that we're all together here at this special time, and I'm more excited about the future every day. I really am.
So am I. All my life, I dreaded the future, and I hated my life, and I tried to make the best of it, but deep down inside, that's how I felt. Just I had no purpose, no mission, no nothing, and I really wanted to get the heck out of here. I'm like, I don't belong here. I don't want to be here. I just want to, what am I here for, to suffer? Because that's all I've been doing. Victim, 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 crybaby. But now I love life. Now I have a purpose. Now I am serving others. I'm helping others. And I feel like I just want to live for another 120 years so I want to be here when we shift, and I want to be here. I'm so excited to be alive now. I'm so glad to be here now.
You know what, Maria? I feel like, yeah, me too. But I feel like if everyone could get like that, we'd shift in a heartbeat. But a lot of us are so gosh, we're just so impatient and we don't like it here. And instead of sending love to that planet, we're like, this isn't my planet. I'm from somewhere else and I hate this place. And we're sending hate to the planet instead of love, just because of our own
And we don't even
impatience.
realize it.
No, we don't even realize it. So I say, if you were born on this planet, own it this lifetime. This is your planet this lifetime. Love it, help it, grow, learn to love your life where you're at right now. And I know I found this happiness and peace like Maria's talking about, living life on purpose. But, you can do that as a waitress, a car salesman, or anything. Just be the light in the people that you interact with. Be the light in their life that day. I mean, it really is that simple. You don't have to be a YouTuber or a medium. You can do it at any job you're at. You can shine your light.
Exactly. Oh, my gosh.
We need light everywhere.
We do. I freaking love this planet. I love it so much. I've had many lives in this freaking planet, I found out. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, I really love it here, don't I? I really feel that it was those attachments I had making me feel that way. It has to be, because I remember being a very happy child until the shadows came.
Yeah. Well,
So,
you can
anyways.
be a confirmation to those listening right now. If you feel like you have shadow beings or spiritual entity attachments and like, I've got to go get these things off of me or something like that. And you've learned this even when you had yours removed, that if you can get your vibes high enough, they don't even want to be on you or around you anymore.
Oh, my, that is so true.
So don't feel like
That
you got to
is
go to
so
somewhere
freaking true.
and have an exorcist get some demons off you. It's really a state of being. And if you can get your vibes up high, they won't want to be around you anymore, because they want that lower anger and depression. They like that lower vibrational stuff. So if you're not in that and they're not feeding off you, it's like a mosquito's not going to bite you if you don't have any blood, right?
Right.
So,
I'm noticing that now that I'm away from the fear and I'm understanding more, and I'm standing in my power now, and my vibrations are higher. And yes, we have ebbs and flows. I mean, there are times when I'm feeling low, and I don't feel like I should do mediumship or anything when I'm feeling low, because I'm susceptible at that point. But when I'm vibrating higher, they come in, but they're like flies, like just shoo. It's not scary anymore. It's like they can't even come near me anymore. They can try to glance at me, and it's like, bye, Felicia. Like, no. They don't scare me anymore. So, yeah, it's a state of being, exactly.
Yeah.
Everything in your reality is it's reflecting your state of mind, dude. And you raise your vibrations. You raise. It's like trying to create a reality that you feel like that's what you want, and create it by focusing on that and not the negative stuff. And the negative stuff starts to fall away, and you start to raise. And then things that used to bother you before won't. And they won't even come into your reality anymore, because it doesn't exist in your reality anymore, because you shift it. You can shift your reality. We're shifting it all day long, all the time, by the different choices that we make and the thoughts that we think. And if your life really, really is not in the place where it's ideal, change it, dude. Yeah. You're that powerful. You're that powerful. We are creators.
Anyway.
Anyway.
And you know what? Just as a little a side note to what we were talking about, keeping your vibes up, because it came through in a session once that some of us are so high vibe that they can't pull off this lower vibrational energy. So what they'll do is they'll send a lower vibrational entity, or human, into your life to try to trigger you and get you into the lower vibe, because really they like the higher vibe people like us, because we're just a better energy when they can get us down low. It's like we're more powerful. So it's like a better drug almost to them. So they rather, instead of feeding on a lower vibrational person, they'd rather get them to trigger the higher vibrational being so they can feed off of them. So that was sort of, but that's like, I don't even really play in that lower level of angels and demons and stuff like that, because I feel like there's a higher perspective you can have above all of that, But you do have to get there. It's sort of a state of being that, where are you resonating?
It is.
Yeah.
And then there are times when you can get a glimpse of it when you have an epiphany, or you get a glimpse of that higher perspective that's even higher than you've ever gone. It's like there's more behind. Yeah. It's like you're pulling back, further back, and you see the realms, the different levels, the angelic realm, the galactic realm, all these realms. But then there's more. There's higher back. There's so much more. There's so much.
It's infinite.
Yeah. It's infinite, right.
Yeah, we feel like there's a ceiling. There's no ceiling. It just keeps its.
But there's no ceiling, right?
There's octaves, and we just keep moving up through the octaves, like the Law of One talks about. I feel like it's like that. It's got to be infinite. Yeah.
And oh man, I haven't read any of those books, and I need to read those books. And oh man, you guys.
Oh, you can listen to them online on YouTube if you put in Law of One. There's somebody's put up. And they've even got the words on the screen, so you can listen while you're doing other stuff and just have it playing. Yeah, if you look up Law of One.
I think you mentioned that before. But they talk about these concepts, because these concepts are just things that were given to me, but I would like a more
A Course in Miracles is probably a little more practical, I would say,
Course in Miracles.
From what I've seen, yeah.
Okay.
But it's all good. It's all pretty much different perspectives of the same ideas for a lot of these teachings that I come across. But I felt like A Course in Miracles was laid out a little bit. Like there's the Law of One, the way they talk, it can be a little difficult at first because they don't say name or word. They say vibrational sound complex. And you're like, what? They're real literal with some of the things they say. So I think A Course in Miracles is probably, more, if I was just going to kind of blindly send somebody one direction, it would probably be to that, or the Celestine Prophecies is a good one. Have you read that book?
I haven't read it, no.
Okay, so it's not like the Nostradamus prophecies. That made me not watch it for a long time or read it for a long time because I thought it was going to be like a Nostradamus style book. But it's a novel that's just about this guy running into all sorts of synchronicities and really his life being guided by these synchronicities. So it's completely different than the title sounds like. So if anybody's put off checking out the Celestine Prophecies because of that, it's good. It's a story. You'll enjoy it.
Cool. Awesome.
All
right.
Well, gosh, Maria, I really appreciate you calling in. It was. I'm ready for another update from you. So don't be a stranger. Definitely hang out in the chat and come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll keep in touch more, and I'll periodically throw in some stories because I have so many.
Yeah. And don't hesitate to email if you get anything that you feel like needs to come out or whatever. People can make their own mind up and discernment or whatever, and so just know you got me as an outlet here.
Great. Thank you, Shane. Thank you,
problem.
Everybody.
It was so nice meeting you. Lots of love to you,
night.
Maria. You too.
Lots of love. Blessings. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's go.
You're listening to The Love Stream.
Unbiased and on the fence.
Alrighty. Gonna go back to the phone lines. Sorry, I've been waiting to get to you. 514 area code. Who am I talking to?
It's Not So Fancy Nancy.
Nancy, sorry to keep you waiting so long.
Hey. No, don't worry. I had my hand raised, but I was listening to the chat and with my son's phone. And some people were not getting it. Was so long for me to write because his handle is LT Frosty, and I have to I'm messaging people and saying, it's Not So Fancy Nancy. I'm using my son's phone because my other phone's on hold and blah, 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 blah. Eventually, I just gave up. How you doing? Oh, Maria, I just have to say, wow.
Yeah, wasn't that a great call?
What a great call. My goodness. What experiences. That's incredible.
It really is. And it's so amazing that people can have those types of experience and not really get to share them with too many people, and then all of a sudden
I know. I'm so glad that she got through, and I know that it's nerve-wracking the first call in. I remember feeling that way too, but way back in the day. So I wanted. So
I haven't even got to talk to you since your BQH session or anything, have we?
No, it's true. Yes, you're right. It's true. Yeah, I wrote down a few notes tonight.
Okay.
So I can catch you guys up on a few things.
Yeah, I'll let you lead the way with it because I know you got whatever you want to discuss.
Yeah. Just a quick shout out to Sandy. Hi, Sandy. I didn't have a chance to say hi because of I was on my son's phone. And Quantum Explorer, Lauren was on earlier. And
I know.
she
It's so good to see her.
with me. And yeah. So okay. Where should I go first? Okay, let me just say quickly. When I did my BQH, the day before that, I had that distance healing from Frank, right? And I told you, Shane, about it. That night, the night before I did the BQH, you know the story, but I'm telling everyone else. I had woken up in the middle of the night with my ear adjusting, like as if it was adjusting to receive a message or something. And then all of a sudden, my third eye burst open. And I was seeing through, Kate's not in the chat anymore, I don't think, but it was like I was seeing through a kaleidoscope. And that lasted for a little while, and then I fell asleep. And then I told Frank the next day, and he had told me he had done a distance healing to Kate, and that Kate was also feeling like she was in a kaleidoscope. And you told me that was like a natural DMT reaction or something?
Exactly. That's what DMT looks like. Is sort of a 3D kaleidoscope of colors and fractal patterns that you.
Fractal. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you mention that, and like,
longer.
yeah, and I've noticed it a few times when I'm going to sleep. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a DMT tunnel, and then I'm gone after that. So it is the same thing the brain releases, but you might not notice it until you've experienced it enough to notice it when you see it. Because I don't know, it's like by the time you reach that point where you can see it in your mind, you're pretty far gone. I mean, you're about ready to fall asleep. So I think that's probably where you were. You're 1 foot in each world.
Yeah, because I was woken up. Yeah, that happens. Well, I mean, not the kaleidoscope thing doesn't happen often to me. I mean, I think that's. I might have kind of seen that other occasions in my lifetime, but that was really the ear that was like waking me up to it, and I know that's in between worlds. So let me tell you what's been going on this week, okay, with these energies, right? So like I've said it in the chat room on Tuesday also that I had one day I had so much anxiety that I had to miss work, and I haven't had anxiety in a long time. So, like I was trying to figure out why, and then I spoke to a few people in our group and who were feeling the same way also. And I also know, like with the 999 portal, blah, 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 this is, old past traumas coming up or old cycles coming back up to be things that you thought you had already cleared were not cleared, and they're coming back up to the surface for you to finally deal with it and and let it go, kind of thing. So a lot of stuff was coming back up with my past relationships with my ex. So because he's kind of been, I don't know, poking around in the picture for the last week and a half, so there's like just too much talk about him. So all these things were coming back up, but I'm okay, I'm good now. Like I cleared that up, and today I'm back to myself, my high vibe self, feeling really good today. And thank goodness, because I was really, really worried there and really nervous. And, okay, what was my point? Oh, yeah. So, but before today, when was it that I had that dream? Yeah, so I had this weird dream the other night. Yeah, I guess it was Monday night. Tuesdays when I had the anxiety? Yeah, so I think it was Monday night. I went to sleep and I was feeling like I was, I call in all my guides, Mother, Father, God, Archangel Michael, Jesus, and my highest self. And sometimes I try and call in 100,000 angels, to help, raise my frequency and also to set an intention to help to help me remember my dreams or any messages. Some I don't remember if it was this night, but I also one of these nights I was putting out an intention to maybe connect with my one of my star being families, like the lion being, the feline being family that was confirmed to me when we were at ESETI.
Yeah.
And but what did happen, because I fell asleep and I was half asleep because I was so in that buzzing feeling, and I know when I feel that, I can like manifest things in my sleep. I feel like I'm healing. Like I feel like I can do things because it's almost like lucid dreaming. I'm like vibing so like buzzing, but I can control things that are happening. But what happens at one point, and because I didn't write anything down, I kind of don't remember how I got to it, but I know that it was as if there was an energy, like an oracle, that was telling me the person that I was with was not a good person, a very negative energy person, and that I wasn't safe. And so I was getting a little like frightened, listening or feeling this energy, giving me this information. And then all of a sudden, I think my parents popped into the dream or the vision, and my mom said, "Oh my God, your eyes are green." And I'm like, "What?" I have brown eyes. And then I'm looking at myself, not even at a mirror, but I'm looking at me across from me, but it felt so real, and my eyes were green. So I'm like, what the heck's going on? I'm freaking out about that. And then this energy, is still convincing me of this thing. And then I decide to tell myself, because I was in fear, I decide to say, you are, how did I say it? I said, what you're telling me is not true. Because I was feeling like it was a trick all of a sudden. I'm like, I'm not believing you. And you are going against all universal laws, and you have no right to be here in my sacred space. And, I basically tell her to leave, and I had already, like, flooded my home with light before I was going to sleep anyway. So I thought that was interesting that if that was a negative entity that came through, I thought it was kind of crazy that it was able to come through. And then the other part, well, hang on before I get to that. So I'm telling this, energy to leave, whatever or not. I am not afraid. I am a sovereign being, and I know what you're telling me is untrue. And then all of a sudden I started to wake up, and the fear was gone, and I felt completely safe and secure in my space, and that energy was gone. So then I was just trying to figure out, so was that a negative entity, or was that my own fears? And I know Ronnie was talking about something like that earlier in the chat about the negative energy.
That's kind of how Eileen and I look at that. It's that really they're sort of one and the same. It's like your thoughts create things. So you can, if you allow those thoughts to manifest into something bigger and bigger, your fears create. So, I mean, you can look at it like, people look at it like devil and angels on your shoulders, or you can look at it as thought streams coming through. I think they're all helpful to look at it whichever way, but I think it's a consciousness stream. So I don't even think necessarily you have to have an entity around you to pick up on a negative stream or a thought that isn't in alignment with what you want, that's more in alignment with fear.
So like just a negative thought form, I guess, because our thoughts, like you were saying, they create, because I remember Eileen talking about this too, you're saying it also, is that all our thoughts exist in, all thoughts, positive, negative, exist in this ether or whatever, right? And if we feed it the energy, then we create it to be more powerful towards us, right?
Yeah. So you're feeding energy into it. It's like watering a plant, so to speak. What do you want to resonate with? Are you going to water the positive plants, or are you going to think of those negative thoughts and let them spiral into stories that might be true or might not be true, but we sit and worry about them, you know what I mean? And that's sort of the bad part about it. Sitting and resonating in that worry, because then we're attracting that sort of thing to ourselves.
So then where do the angels and the positive energies and other light beings come into play, that this is where I was trying to get to, Are those also just things that we are feeding energy to?
Yeah, I feel like they're just streams coming into us higher, just different, just like sound, you got bass coming, you got treble coming, and it's like, what are you going to tune into? The trebly higher sounds or the lower?
Frequencies, I get, yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it anyway. It seems to work in practice anyway. From
Yeah.
I noticed that when you have an optimistic outlook, when you have that outlook like Cynthia Sue Larson talks about, how good can it get, and you just have that attitude of gratitude, life just seems to go better. I don't know if it's your imagination
It
or
makes
what.
a lot of sense.
But it feels right,
For sure.
feels good.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? I thought it was so amazing that I wasn't afraid. And I've said it before, I used to be afraid all my life of things like this, of feeling something, of feeling an energy, sensing an energy. Because I've felt things all my life, and I've always, slept with a blanket over my head. And now I don't feel that anymore. So I felt so empowered in that moment when I realized that. And I realized that I'm in control. So that was really empowering for me. And a few days before that, my son wanted to watch It, the original It, because the new one was coming out, right? And I don't like horror movies because, I know that there can be negative energies attached to that too, and whatever. And I've always been afraid, especially more of like scary spiritual movies. Those things always freak me out. But I told him, yeah, okay, I'll watch it with him. And it's so funny because I've told him that before, about, the frequencies of the horror movie, and, if your vibration matches that and stuff, you could attract bad stuff or whatever, And he's so funny because he was saying to me, Mommy, it's okay, just put that light around you.
Isn't that funny when teachings return to you? You're like, wait a minute. And I found myself this past week telling myself things that I tell other people, trust, don't worry. And so you have to take up your cross daily, as they say. It's a constant fight over your thoughts. And they say to take your thoughts captive in the Bible. And I think that's really true, to really put your thoughts captive, examine them, and see if you want to roll with them or not. Do you want to roll with those feelings of fear and anger or whatever, or do you want to tune into something higher? And I think it's all about tuning in to the frequencies that you want to experience. And it's just a matter of shifting your perspective. I mean, it really is like flipping a switch, but it's so hard to do for some people.
Oh my goodness! I mean, everything's changed so much since our meeting at ESETI also. So so much has it's leveling up. I know for me, my psychic senses are developing even more. And I'm becoming stronger and stronger. Like, for me to have been able to handle that situation in my night the other night, I was really excited about that. And feeling even more adventurous and wanting to see more, wanting to experience more. So like when I go to sleep, I'm like, okay, what else can I see? What show, bring me here, I want to, see my home somewhere else or whatsoever, But to get back to the movie though, I was watching the movie and I was laughing at some parts. I mean, yeah, it's a creepy movie. It's a creepy clown, and it's terrible that he terrorizes these kids. Okay, terrible. But knowing that it's a movie, knowing that it's a character and it's paint and this and that, and just the moral of the story was the fact, and exactly what it says, is you feed the scary through your fear. Kind of like the children's movie Monsters, Inc., right? They collect the screams of the kids for their electricity.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it. You've got kids.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen it. Yeah. Except it is a little bit more of an older version, older crowd. But that's what it was, and I was able to catch that instead of being afraid. Of course, we put on something funny afterwards, to just change our minds before going to bed.
So you didn't have to put on the blindfold and the headphones listening to John Benny while it was playing then, huh?
No. And like I told him, I go, listen, his music is infused in me, so it's there, so it's like it's always around, I don't have to. I feel perfectly safe.
Everybody's shouting you out, by the way. Angela and Frank and everybody. So.
Oh, Angela's on. What's up? Cool. Love you. Oh, Frank's on too. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. I can't wait till November. I'm so excited. My flight is booked. I'm going for 3 nights. I'm super, super happy.
That's crazy. You're flying to the city I was born and raised in, St. Louis, Missouri.
I know.
That's
I
wild.
know. So excited. So excited. I haven't traveled so much. I mean, like twice. This is going to be twice this year for to see part of the group. So
it's going to be tight if I come
that
through there on time or whatever. But I know if any of my family finds out, I got cousins. Actually, I've got a brother that lives outside of the St. Louis area. If any of them find out I came through and didn't holler at them, I'm gonna.
Well, you do what you can, Shane. You don't. You go with what you can do, right?
Yeah.
We're going to see each other. I think from now on, it's like the connection is there. There's no. We're all family now.
Yeah, I think there's like a little there's a little message in that, I think, because it's like, I'm going back to my hometown to meet with my new star family. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, it's a funny thought.
So cool. It'd be so cool. So the other day I went to my dad's library, his bookshelf, or he has a few bookshelves, and he's got, the main house where you guys were staying at Isetti, right? I filmed the bookshelf that was there because it reminded me so much of my dad's bookshelf. Because there were a lot of books in there, because there were a lot of books from the 80s and 90s in there. And some of the books that were in there are books that my dad has also. So I go into his bookshelf the other day, and I pull out this book called You Are Becoming a Galactic Human. And this is a book written in 1984.
Wow.
So I just started reading it the other day, but I'll just read you quickly the back here. It says, a bold, urgent, and extraordinary revelation about Earth's hidden million-year history and secret truths of human relationships with spiritual masters and star beings. Why is time accelerating? This is in the 80s. What is causing it? Why will all physical life change by the end of 1996? How may you prepare? How can you regain your full DNA 12 helix consciousness identity?
What?
Will the second
This
coming
is 80s?
of Christ, 80s, 1984. Will the second coming of Christ be what you thought it would be? What role are the Syrians playing in human evolution? Will they be landing soon? And is physical death still necessary? Is ascension possible? So I'm like, what? So I started reading this book. And I haven't started the first chapter that's called The Beginning, but I was just reading the introduction, and she's talking about, it's all channeled information, right? And she's talking about a lot of, the ancient books and stuff like that actually talk about, star beings, like the Aboriginals who talk about the star people and their history, and word of mouth, their oral stories and stuff like that. It mentioned about Moses with the God that was coming down, and there was all kinds of, I don't know much about the Bible, but just that story about all the winds and stuff. And I think the message was to leave that town or something. Could it be? Yeah, you would know. But they didn't have any technology back then, right? So who's to say? Like they were saying that was not a ship coming down, right?
Right. Oh, totally. Yeah.
Higher intelligence, coming in to say, save yourselves, get out of here, kind of thing, right? A bunch of other things, in the Hindu text also they talk about these things. The ships called Vimanas, I think. So it's all there in the ancient texts. And I spoke with this one guy at my work because he seems to be awake on a certain degree. And he knows a lot about the conspiracy theories and stuff like that, and Hollywood and the background, and the satanic rituals and yada yada. But he is so, and I was talking a little bit about my experience at Isetti, and he was like, oh, okay, whoa, now, he believes ETs exist. But then he was like, oh, now that's too far. I'm really afraid of that, Nancy. I meditate every night to keep any aliens away from me, And I'm like, wow, it's so interesting, that narrative, that to put that fear into people about that, So I didn't push. I didn't go too far. I did send him the interview from James Gilliland, or Gillen. He pronounces it with 2 syllables,
3, Gilliland.
I don't know. I heard him say it a few times, James Gilliland. Gilland. I never hear the Gilland.
Oh.
The Mandela effect, or?
No, I don't know.
I'm sure
Maybe
I'm
you
not the
just
only
said it
one.
really fast. Yeah.
Nah,
I don't know.
more
I
than
just.
once.
Right. No, I know. But.
People in the chat will confirm, I'm sure. Otherwise, I'm going through a Mandela effect. I don't know.
It's like one of
Well,
those.
let me see.
Did you say Sex and the City or Sex in the City? I said Sex in the City. Which one is it? You know, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
probably
I remember it as "and the city," and I remember thinking that's odd. I remember thinking that.
That's wild.
But yeah, so I guess that's all I wrote down.
That's awesome. So, what's your feeling? Do you feel like you got any activations during the BQH or anything like that? Has activity increased since that time?
Well, my psychic abilities are increasing. These things that are happening in the night, like.
And that could be with the reconnection too, though, with Frank's reconnection.
So I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff could be all connected. I'm sure it's all helping, you know.
Mhm. For sure, it's got to be. I mean, I definitely find myself able to jump back quicker from negative feelings. Like this week was a little bit rough, but before that, you know, like if I would go into a slump of doubt, you know, it comes back so much quicker, you know.
Mhm.
And I'm still feeling a lot of confirmation about the reconnective healing about going into that. And my rice experiment, by the way, I had to throw out the rice yesterday because when I came home, my son said, "Mommy, can you throw out the rice, please? Because it smells like puke in here."
Oh.
So I guess I was supposed to close the lid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. It's supposed to be sealed.
Aha. All right. So I'm gonna have
that's
to.
That's nice to know.
Then.
If you guys do the rice experiment, if you don't put a lid on it, you're gonna smell puke. It's awful.
I was like, "Oh, you're right. Open the windows. Let me flush it down the toilet."
Let me ask you this: was the one with love on it that was funky, or the other one?
No, actually, they were both. But I think the hate one was a little funkier than the love one. But they were still not so good. So, well, that's perfect because originally I wanted to do it. I wanted to record it from the start. So that, you know, that was a good little test. Nothing happens for nothing, right?
Right. And now we all know. Make sure you cover the rice.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna seal it, and I'm gonna record it.
And you said it's a month, right?
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people do it. Well, at the end of each week, you can at least see a little bit of a difference. Like just pick a day, like just check in on it every Saturday or whatever day, you know, you do it a week after that. And then just record it. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'll mention quickly too because you know, you don't always remember who knows and who you've said it to and who you haven't said it to. But like last few weeks also. Yeah, it was after the BQH also, I think, or just before it, because Shane, I don't remember if I told you this just before we did the BQH, but I had pulled up behind a car that had the license plate New Life on it.
Mm-hmm.
Did I tell you that?
Yeah, I think it was the day before the BQH.
Okay, it was the day before, yeah. And the day before is when I had one of the distance healings from Frank.
And then your license plate says...
Cool. Love you all. Yeah.
So what a message. People are driving by you guys and they say, "Love you all, New Life." And
yeah, totally. And I'm sure these are all little seeds that we're planting, you know?
I actually do that. I was telling somebody else I do that at the gas pump. So if I'll pump 1111 or 2222 or something, I feel like I'm just leaving a little sign for the next light worker that comes along, and you know, so they don't feel alone. Because you would know if somebody left it like that. You're like, that wasn't a coincidence. Somebody, or they're awake or whatever. So it's like a little sign. I feel like I'm leaving for the next person if they're awake. They might not even notice it, you know.
Oh, that's super cool.
Little fun.
You know, I know I have so many little things that are not coming up in my mind now, but aren't it?
Oh no, it's not sweet.
Oh well, I guess I got out what I needed to get out tonight, I guess. It was so much fun, though. It was so much fun. Oh, I'm so excited about your book.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that was such an exciting moment today when I realized she's like, "You're an author now." And I'm like, "I am. I'm an author."
Oh my God.
Not much for labels, but it was exciting. What'd you say?
Sure. Well, I mean, great timing, too.
Yeah, it really was.
You know?
Yeah.
A good number. It's not a bad number. It's a good number.
No, I was thinking, you had the 12 disciples with Jesus makes 13. There's a lot of 13s that people don't realize it's not evil.
Yeah.
In fact, you can see why they would want you to think it's evil in a lot of cases. Like Jesus is the perfect example. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no kidding. And my son wanted to go see it tonight, and then I was like, oh, I don't know if we should go. I thought the full moon was today, but it's actually tomorrow.
Oh, it is? Okay, yeah.
I think
technically.
That's what
it looks full, though, It still looks pretty full.
Yeah. Well, either way, all the energies, you feel it a few days before, and if you feel it a few days after. And I'm worried about going to work tomorrow night because, oh boy, full moon weekends at work, it's like so weird. I mean, you get weird customers, things happen in the kitchen, mistakes are made. It's so weird.
It is weird. My mom worked at the hospital. I'm sure Sherry she works at the hospital, or has worked. But my mom would say, oh my gosh, it's a full moon. We're going to have a lot of people going into labor, a lot of women going into labor, a lot of crazy, bizarre type of crimes and accidents. People get weird when the moon's full. I don't know why. But it's an energy thing.
If the full moon exactly. If the full moon can affect the tides, then why wouldn't it affect everything else, right? Because
we're 2/3
we're all
water.
made of the same thing. Exactly.
Awesome.
Oh well. I guess
all right. Well, thank you so much, Nancy, for calling in. I was wanting to check out and see how you've been doing.
So good to talk to you, Shane. So good to talk to you. Hey, check out your email. I'd love to have, because I don't know, you haven't seen it yet, but I wrote, I don't have the courage yet to wear my ESETI shirts out in public. But I definitely would wear a UOTF shirt, and I would definitely have the stickers on my car.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
That would be something super cool if you would do that. I would totally order some of those for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been thinking about doing it. People are like,
proud.
I want a mug. I want a coffee mug to sip my coffee while,
And everybody else got it, like I want that too.
Yeah.
It means something to me, it would mean something to us because it's,
absolutely.
It's special, and it's something material that we can have and as a reminder, a mug, that's great. I can put my coffee in it every day.
I'll definitely do that. I'll get things lined up in case somebody wants to get something for themselves for Christmas. Get yourself a coffee mug or a shirt, because I can't imagine people buying it for gifts for other people. It's sort of like our group. Everybody else would be like, who the heck is this guy?
You know what? I would actually do that, though. I would buy like a mug for my sister or something, if they're interested in, looking it up, or, hey, I don't know, like something.
We could just have some high vibe messages. It doesn't have to be channel related, like "You Are Loved" and some of the other. I come up with a few that I think
and
are
you can
pretty
have
much
UOTF at the bottom, or in the
Yeah.
back of the mug, in the front "You Are Loved" and in the back UOTF, and I really
cool.
love the. When Sherry did BQH last year, I think, and she heard the message, Fairies of the Universe, and that's in the meditation from Abraham Hicks. She had sent that to me, and I listened to that meditation very often. And she says, you can call it your angels or fairies of the universe, but it's just funny because of the F, the letters.
Yeah, FOTU instead of UOTF. Yeah. What a crazy synchronicity, because those are four very unique letters, The
No
fact
kidding,
that they're
to
scrambled
come out
like
of one phrase.
Yeah. Fairies of the Universe and
Nothing
Unbiased and on
happens
the
for nothing.
Fence. So, we just had that session for, she did like a surrogate session, and that's who came through, the Fairies of the Universe. Very
Just
cool.
recently?
Yeah, like last Monday. That's why we canceled the show to do a session for someone instead. And yeah, the Fairies of the Universe came through again. I was like, wow. I don't know.
Are you kidding? Oh,
No,
wow.
it's awesome. Yeah, it's so cool that you brought that up again.
Is that something well, nothing happens for nothing, right, Shane?
Yeah. It's all connected. I love it.
Yeah, totally. Oh,
Angela wants a T-shirt and a mug, too. I'll get something up, you guys. Give me a month or two, and I'll have it up before Christmas. That way, if you want to, I'll try to get it up early. Yeah.
Awesome. I've got Rita made a beautiful painting of Isetti. Did you get to see it? I'm sure she sent it to you.
Yeah, I showed it Tuesday with Michelle Wolf. We brought it up. It's so beautiful.
Yes. I remember.
Don't you love how she like actually channeled the feeling, the energy? Like when you look at it, she like really, she captured that energy. That's wonderful.
Totally. And right away, like she sent it to me, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I go, do you mind? I'm going to print it so that I can have it and put it up on my wall, so I can have a reminder. I have like a little shrine here with a bunch of stuff from Isetti.
Yeah. There's Rita.
So
Hey,
Rita.
Yeah. If you guys didn't see that, check that out on. It was Monday or Tuesday. Sorry, with Michelle Wolf, we showed Rita's beautiful painting. Awesome. And I could totally feel the high vibes coming through it.
Absolutely. My goodness. Yes. Yes. Oh, it just brought me back. Yeah. And I have one also that I want to print from Renee. It's so pretty. It's always her from the back, so you have her long hair and she's got Phoenix on her shoulder. I didn't tell her that either, but I want to print that one too, Renee, if you're still there, or I'll talk to you about it.
Oh, that's her bird, Phoenix?
Yeah, on her shoulder. Nice. So I'm printing that, and I'm going to put that up on my wall too. So I'm going to surround myself with my soul family, because you guys just, you're the, my battery.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I'm excited to see you in November. I did want to mention that for anybody coming in late, that if you're in the St. Louis area in November, on November the 11th, shoot me an email, and I'll make sure you're connected to get the information of where and what time. So
beautiful.
That'd be awesome.
Beautiful. I look forward to it. So it's for sure that you're going to be in there?
I still don't. I haven't mapped it out yet, and it's a really good possibility, though.
Okay.
We'll leave it up to the Fairies of the Universe.
Exactly.
If I'm supposed to be there, I'll be there, guys.
That's it. Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, it was so great to get through and talk to you, and even had a lot of fun earlier chatting with the people on the. I wish I was a quicker typer, but oh well.
Yeah, that's why I'm a lurker, because I can't listen and type. Because I can while I'm live, because I'll just say something quick. But to really get into all the different conversations, it's hard to do that in one. So I typically lurk.
No, you can't do that. And we made so many connections that I have to get a new I have to get a long distance phone plan for my cell phone, because most of you guys are out in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already had I spoke with Terry for I think over an hour. I spoke with Frank for quite a while too.
Do you have a computer, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't. I just have my cell phone.
Well, can you use Google Voice from your phone?
Oh shoot! I never think of
that. Because remember I was able to call you during the session.
Yes.
And it wasn't long distance, so you might be able to get the Google Voice app, and then just you'll have a different phone number. Like I have my show number that I use, but it will forward to my phone if I want. I just have it turned off, just because it's out there. It's so try that. You can save yourself some money.
Thank goodness for you.
But you'll get a phone number, and you know what? You could probably get, I got a number that had Shane C in it, like the letters in it. Mm-hmm. So I think 781, wherever that area code is. You don't have to get the area code from your area, so you might be able to get a United States phone number even. I'm just not sure. Just pick one in New York.
Through Google phone.
Yeah, Google Voice.
I have the app. I have the app. I just never touch it because I'm not tech savvy, and I just didn't think of it. And I think it was my ex that had put it on my phone. way back when we would go to Florida. And
yeah, I think they come with it now, actually. But yeah, if you're traveling internationally, or like when you go to St. Louis, if you're on data wherever you're at, then your Google Voice would still ring you wherever you're at. So it is a nice thing to have, because I don't think your phone doesn't ring here if somebody calls you, right? If you're out of Canada, or does it ring?
No, it rang when I was in East City. I got a call in.
Oh, did they charge you over long distance for that?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So you got like a roaming charge then.
Yeah, but I think they offered, like, there was a text that said you're out of the country and you can use a certain amount for a certain price, like $7 a day. So I got charged $7 a day for a call that I made each day I was there. I just saw my bill. I had on the 8th, the 10th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th. $7 each day while I was
7, 14, 21, 28. You're like, wait. Oh gosh.
But you see each day that I was at East City,
Yeah. Just checking in.
God. Yeah. Oh God, that was so much. Every once in a while I have to go back and look at those videos just to bring me back to those moments over there out in the field with John and Sherry and Eileen and Shiny and anything, even the little video that I made. I got to go back and just bring me back and just remind me of that high vibe feeling and such the love. Oh, it's magic that I carry with me, so it's you can't go backwards now, after that.
Oh no, we're definitely making progress. Got that forward momentum going, so it's awesome.
Absolutely. All right.
Awesome.
Well,
thank you, Nancy, for calling in and updating us, and it's always good to talk to you.
Always good to talk to you too, Shane. Love you guys in the chat. I'll come in to say bye. Shane, we'll talk soon. We'll see you soon.
All right, yeah,
Love
we'll see you
all.
soon. Love you, bye-bye.
Love you, Soul Fam. Good night.
Good night. All right. Cool, guys. So, Nancy. I got to call her Fancy Nancy. She's fancy. Fancy Nancy, thanks for calling in. All right, you guys. Well, we're not at 3 hours yet, but I have to go pick my wife up. So I will be back tomorrow night with Eileen, as we mentioned earlier. So excited about that. And let me think, is there anything else I'm forgetting? I do want to thank all of you guys for being here and being a part, and even all of you lurkers that come by every week, and feel free to chat, or even if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can go to the website uotf.net and just join in with the forum. Maybe get your feet a little wet if you do have something you want to share with the group. And it's nice to have somebody to talk to, so you don't have to be alone. Please do feel like you can join in with the group. It's a nice, safe place. A lot of great people. You will feel the love. I'm assuming that if anybody's been lurking for any time, you still feel the love, whether you're actually joining in or not, because it's just palpable at times. Very powerful. Lots of love to you guys. Have a good night. I'll be back tomorrow with Eileen for the Power of 8 at 8. Have a good night. If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.